And welcome to the most utterly fantastic podcast in the known universe. Number one on every single metric that matters, which is our mothers. Uh,
I
it's
was like,
episode.
wow, we really blew up in last week.
We did. We got a 710 subscribers, buddy. We're moving. Which I love all of you 710 subscribers out there. Yes, it's episode 133 of the Strength Hammer podcast, coming to you hot and fresh after stressful days of work and excitement, but lots of Warhammer happening recently. How you doing, Alex?
Yes, lots. Yeah, I've honestly been. This is probably the most consistent I've been since like high school with Warhammer. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, it's you have done more hobby than I've seen you honestly ever do because prior to you being on social media, I didn't know, but like,
Right. Sure. Sure. Yeah. This literally the amount of hobby I've been doing lately reminds me of the times when I was in high school. And when I transferred to American high school from Russian school, the level of difficulty dropped from very hard to borderline too easy.
okay,
Right?
yeah,
Even though it was a second language, after I got past that, past being in a foreign country, like it was so easy. So literally, I almost never did schoolwork. Like I almost always finished all my schoolwork in school. So I would literally get home, and if I wasn't hanging out with friends, I would hobby.
wow, that's
So I was hobbying so much, and yeah, lately just because of different events going on and just the love for the game and the nature of my career, I have been
yeah, that
able to
does help.
hobby a bit more lately. So it's been fun.
Speaking of which, go sign up to Fit Hammer's Patreon because he's giving some giveaways from the Arnold swag, which is plenty.
Yes, yes. Thank you for the shout out. Yeah,
Hmm.
I finally went through everything I got at Arnold's. So there's so many pre-workouts and protein powders and shirts I got. And yeah, I'm just giving it all away because I don't need more. I have too much already.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's the same thing any convention. So even when we go to like the major conventions, you come back with so much extra like Warhammer and models. You're like, I don't
Yeah,
know what to do with this all. So
yeah. Just give it
usually,
away somehow.
yeah, usually the local club folks who aren't able to make it out to this events, it's like, here, take this Skaven Tide box because I don't need another one.
Exactly. Yeah, and literally the energy drink I'm drinking right now is from that.
Hey,
I have not
yeah,
had to buy energy drinks
yeah,
since the time. So yeah, it's a good thing. Literally, probably 2 3 months afterwards, you will not need to get any fitness and nutrition supplements because you'll have so much.
oh yeah. I'm still working on because I don't do protein powder every single day.
Sure.
Um, just whenever I'm behind. And to be fair, I haven't been super focused on protein goals lately, so I still have my
Sure.
my huge thing of protein from last year's Arnold still.
Which is
So
ridiculous. It's
it
crazy.
cost me what, like $30?
Yeah, it's a good place to just enjoy the expo and atmosphere, but to restock on all your yearly supplements, especially if you're
Yeah,
driving.
exactly. Um, well, I mean, with that said, and a little shout out there, the viewers want to know. Actually, before we get there, I just want to do another quick little PSA. You're probably all listening to this right now, going, "Wait a second, it's Monday. Did I miss
Sure.
this?" I did put posts out on social media. Alex threw it back out there too, and it's also on the YouTube. I don't know how to reach you if you're listening to this just on Spotify, other than this. Um, but due to personal schedule changes, it's working out better for us to record at slightly different times. So the best way to bring a consistent podcast at the same time every single week, this podcast is now going to be releasing Monday morning around 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So sorry if you enjoyed us for the weekend time, but yeah, even though it's going to be odd because the way we're recording, we won't cover anything that happens on the weekend.
Sure, sure. That's
Because
fair.
I think it's like we're literally recording Thursday night with Alex and then Saturday morning with Neil.
That's hilarious. So
So
anything that's released on the weekend will not matter anyway.
let's hope the big news
We'll
is
be
always
far
on
behind.
Friday. Yeah.
What
Um,
you should have said is that we're rebranding the podcast so you can listen to it first thing in the week to get you through your work and your drive to work.
I would, but
That's what you
Sunday's the
should have
first day of
said.
the week, so
That's actually very true. That
everybody
is
else is just
exactly how
wrong. Yeah.
you should absolutely live your weeks with Sundays being the first day.
Yeah. Exactly.
100%.
And
I agree.
also too, if there's anything important and exciting and big, I'll probably just do a solo show like I have, like not a
Sure.
podcast, just a
Sure.
video. So
Sure.
go subscribe
Yeah.
to the YouTube. We're still chasing 1,000 people. We're gonna
That's
get
right.
there.
1,000. That's the goal.
More importantly, how's the goal of your lawn looking?
Oh, I keep forgetting that we have the lawn talk until the second where you mentioned the lawn,
Lawn
and I'm like,
talk.
oh, that's right. We're gonna talk about the lawn. It's great. It's green. It's moisturized. It's been raining.
I know it's
Can't
raining
wait
next
for it to
4 days for
grow.
us. It's not gonna
Yeah,
stop raining.
it's honestly kind of gross. Like I like rain. I appreciate rain, but it's been just rainy and cold lately, so it's kind of over it at this point.
Yeah, I like the rainy, but we just went through like 3 or 4 days of this.
Right.
Had like
Right.
half a day break and it's coming back
Yes.
into it. Everything's just damp and wet. It's just
Yes.
like I like the feel of a rainy day, but
Yes.
I love a rainy night. Anyway, um,
Especially if it wasn't cold. Like it's a little chilly and it's like
yeah,
you can't really be outside too long.
we get
It's
peaks. Like yesterday, we had a good peak. And by the way, I have
mm,
a hot topic for my lawn talk.
geez. All right. What do we
Yesterday,
got?
3 houses down.
No.
I was putting some stuff outside. I had to take get some stuff out through the basement to take over to Hobby Day last night. Um, Heard a mower start up, and at first, like it's kind of like you, like someone's probably just testing it. It's fine.
Sure.
And it didn't stop.
No.
I got on my back porch, and I was looking out because it was dry for a day. Someone was cutting their lawn. I was like, you. I don't know how
Don't
we're.
start this. Don't. It's too early.
Yeah, I'm not. It's we're still only 6 minutes in. YouTube like doesn't like us to swear until we're like 10 or 15 or something. So
Is that actually a rule?
it's a thing in the algorithm actually.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Um, but yeah, someone started the lawn mowing. No one responded. I think all of us were just like,
Okay,
no,
good. This is unreasonable.
it is.
Unreasonably early.
It is. It's unreasonably. I'd say end of this month at the earliest. Plus,
Yeah.
also the ground wasn't even dry yet. Like
Right. No,
I
you
have
cannot.
crabgrass too, but
Yeah.
like I'm sorry. Like no,
Yeah, no,
it's
I don't like cutting like soaking. If it's like a bit of dew in the morning, it's not a
that's
big
fine.
deal,
Yeah.
right? But if it's soaking wet, I don't think it's good for the mower.
No, it's not. I mean, anyway. Yeah, the lawn gauntlet was thrown. I think it was a defiant stand against that person. Um,
Good,
but
good.
we'll see. We'll
Don't let
see.
him win.
We'll see what next week brings. All right.
Who knows? Yeah, I'm excited to hear a follow up on this story.
It's gonna get tight. It's gonna get. I'm gonna start being that guy. Like, oh, it's 8 a.m. Let's start this mower. You want to go, buddy?
On a Monday, you should do it on a work day.
I should do at a random work day since I work from home. Be like, hey, I'm gonna take my
Yeah.
lunch break at like 7:30.
Yep.
Okay, whatever. Like that's fine. Um, well, with that, we have a slightly off the cuff topic for the fitness portion of this show today. Because my work has been just so my real work,
Sure.
I guess. Not any of the other weird side work that I do, or this podcast, which is not work. You guys realize this is free. You should like and subscribe. Um, Stress management and how the gym can help with that because
Ooh, okay.
I have been not it's an odd stress. Like I'm working from home, so I can't complain too much.
Hmm.
But the sheer volume of work has tripled for me in the past since the start of this year, um, which is good because I'm in sales. It could mean more money down the road. So
Sure.
like, but it's like I'm getting burned out. I'm getting tired. Having to ask for help a lot more. And a few of the saving graces, like hobbies, are good. Um, like
Sure.
I can walk over to my hobby desk because my basement's where I do my stuff too. But I don't get the sheer amount of escapism, even like right after work. Like it takes me a while to unwind, but the gym is the best place for me to find stress relief. So I
Hmm.
just kind of wanted to talk about that and how maybe if
Sure.
you're stressed, you need to find that and figure out how to make the gym a sanctuary. So we both do this. I think everybody does it at some point. But have you ever experienced that, Alex, where you're just overloaded and
Oh my goodness. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think for me personally, I mean, anytime I'm dealing with anxiety or self-worth issues, right? Because I personally deal with those, not to go like all heavy, uh, but the reality is I go through seasons where mental health is just not great,
sure?
right? And gym, if I didn't have a gym, I don't know. I mean, there's a few things that help me out in those seasons. My friends and family, my faith,
Hmm.
hobby, and gym are all integral parts of that.
Oh, sure,
And
yeah,
if I didn't have one of those, it probably would be very, very challenging. right? So gym,
Hey,
when you
wait,
can
wait, wait,
just
wait!
let
You forget about your lovely kitties. What the
you
heck?
sure. Well, they're a one
Russell
constant in
Lion?
my life that
Okay,
never
yeah,
goes away.
yeah. I was like, my cat's in. Like, I require my cat in my life to get over
Sure,
stress
sure.
sometimes.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. No, they were. I was just laying on the bed for a few minutes, and they were both with me, so it's
Nice.
very fair. But besides that, gym is absolutely that place because you can push yourself hard,
Hmm.
right? The weights don't have emotions, right? They don't have feelings, so
Yep.
you can you can mess them up without worrying about, you can let your anger almost or your emotions out on them without worrying about hurting them, right?
Right.
Um, it's a good
And
way to push yourself. It's a good way to let the energy out, drain yourself a little bit, push yourself, not punish yourself,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But just push yourself enough, get fatigued, get the energy out. And the reality is, once after the workout, your mood is better, right?
yeah.
Uh,
Endorphins are
there are
going.
endorphins, adrenaline is up, so you are in a better mood. You do it consistently enough, you actually will be in a better mood.
Well, the other things too that I find in a really, 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 really rough time, I deadlift.
Yeah,
Um,
sure, sure,
Mostly because I will keep adding weight until I can't.
sure.
Because I nothing breaks me out of the cycle of stress more than whenever there's just close to 500 pounds and I can't deadlift 500 pounds yet. And that's just sitting there, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna try, and then I fail, and it's just like it just stares at you. It's like I don't care.
Sure,
You're not you're
right.
not you're not strong enough, but I'm not gonna judge you. You're strong enough to do 465,
Yeah,
475 maybe, yeah, but
yeah, yeah.
but it's like a nice little humbling moment too with the stress. But yeah, like getting that out is so good. But I guess what's some of the things that you do to help make sure that the gym stays that sanctuary? Like personally for
Sure.
me, just to kind of get the ball rolling on this is
Yep.
like when I'm in the gym, I have the plan of what like. It's I have gym clothes, so it gets you that mindset going. I always
Mhm.
walk to the gym, so it has that going for it. Outside of that, like it's like the smells and everything just kind of clues me in. And while I'll have my phone on me, my phone is not anything I care about. Like I don't have
Mhm.
work on my phone. I don't have anything on my phone I really care about. And like I've been lifting without music for the past like 4 months.
Really?
Well, because
Wow.
I'm just chatting with my wife because we're working out
Sure. Oh,
together.
that's true. That's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like just like what's some things that you might do to help make sure that the gym stays the gym? So no matter what happens. So in the worst case scenario, Fit Hammer as a business fails, you're still gonna
Sure.
go to the gym.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
And it won't be like, everybody like I used to work at GameStop. So when I was done with GameStop, I didn't want to touch video games for like a year.
Sure.
I'm always gonna go to the gym. Even if I worked in the gym and got fired from a gym, I'd probably still go to
Right.
that gym. So yeah.
Sure.
What's some of your methods to make sure it stays at sanctuary?
Yeah, I think you nailed it with a couple points. Is remove obstacles.
Hmm.
So have your gym clothes, have a plan, right? So what are the biggest obstacles people going to the gym? Is like, oh, I don't know what to do,
Right.
right? And it's just inconvenient. Well, you can make it more convenient by having a gym bag ready the day before, or literally just always have your gym bag ready.
Yep. And same thing with like meal prepping too, I guess.
Yeah, that'll apply with
For
nutrition,
general
will apply to
fitness, yeah.
hobby. This applies to any area of life you're trying to improve in or stay consistent.
Oh yeah,
With
yeah.
hobby, having a hobby desk and having a project on the hobby desk,
Oh,
or having a work, right?
I love the moment when I realized all the gym stuff was just applying directly to Warhammer.
Yeah, it's
Everything.
fantastic,
It's
and it will apply to
it's life. It
anything you're
applies to
trying
life.
to do.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. You wanna you wanna get better sleep. Remove obstacles that prevent you from getting good sleep.
Yeah. Like I said,
Throw your child away. Right, it's preventing you from getting good sleep. No more
you
kids.
don't need it. You can make another one.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Don't do that, please.
don't take those advice. Uh, well, yeah, no, it's a very good thing too. Like with, I said, maybe if your phone is your work, like maybe you don't look at your phone while you're doing your workout. Like
Yeah,
I know you, like you usually write down your workout, like your reps and your ranges
yeah,
and your weights,
yeah. I
because
keep
that way
track.
you're not
Mhm,
staring at your phone because
mhm.
you're gonna get bombarded with messages that you're like, well, no, I'm not, I'm here to work out right now.
Right. So it really depends because the funny thing is sometimes I do because I do have a lifestyle where I stay on social media a lot
Yeah.
for my work. I actually do often will go to the gym and do social media at the gym.
Right,
my social media work.
but do you have that kind of planned out? So
Yes,
it's not
yes.
like, yeah.
Yes. So some of my workouts will be like, okay, I'm right. Today's workout is kind of half work, half workout,
Yeah.
right? So in between sets, I'm going to stay social media. Maybe I'll go on a treadmill for a little bit afterwards, get all the messages answered, all the comments answered, all of that.
Sure.
But if I'm doing workout for mental health or no, it's a stress relief. Sometimes I'll put just music, right? And I'm intentionally not on social media,
Right.
right? And during those darker seasons I mentioned, yeah, my plan is I'm doing this program, I'm doing this lift, I am putting this kind of music on, right, to kind of motivate me and really give it my all for the workout.
Hmm.
But sometimes I don't do that, and sometimes I combine it with work, and sometimes some of my clients will listen to audiobooks at the gym because for them a gym is more of a hassle, right? And
Yeah.
they will have their gym clothes ready, they will have a time blocked out for the workout, they'll have a plan, but it's still not very fun for them to be at the gym. So listen to an audiobook so they can listen to something fun, get for their sets, do the work, and leave.
Yep.
So you got to find something that works for you to stay consistent with it.
Yeah, because you're, eventually, like, I think the gym's a hassle for everybody at the start. I just feel like that's just what it
I
is, and
agree.
then it becomes the habit, then it becomes the norm, then it becomes your
I agree.
friend. Um, but yeah, it's like it's a good safe place, but and it's hard. I know this is an off the cuff one, everybody, but um, use the gym as that space to relieve your stress. Use it to escape because you can. And to be fair, I know very few times in my life where someone couldn't reach me for an hour, and I'm just like, oh, sorry, I was at the gym. Okay, cool. How was your work? And like, it's like that's not a, and, nothing's really an emergency typically,
Yeah.
unless it's actually an emergency. But um, I think it's pretty much a norm worldwide as a worldwide culture that if you're in the gym, everybody understands that you want to be left alone.
Yeah.
So
100%.
so that's one of the few places where you can unwind. You don't need your phone. Heck, grab an old MP3 player. Like,
Sure.
just
Yeah. Yeah.
you
It
completely
can be
disconnect if you want.
sanctuary.
Yeah.
For a season, actually, I might go back to that eventually. Is I actually track my workouts on pen and paper on a
Yep.
journal, and all I did in the gym was listen to music, pen and paper tracking, and it was phenomenal. It was such a beautiful, peaceful moment. So in the future, I might go back to that for a season. But I actually have a question for you.
Sure.
If you had to guess, just throw a number out there, how many workouts have you done in your life?
Man, that's rough. 5,000?
Okay, you've done 5,000 workouts. How many of them have you regretted?
None.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a good call
Right?
out. Yep.
You're never going to regret a workout. You're going to feel better. You're going to be stronger. It's not a waste of time.
Even the ones where I hurt myself.
Yeah, even the
Did
ones you
I
hurt
ever I
yourself.
did I don't regret it.
You got stronger. You know how to not hurt yourself in the future. You've recovered from it.
Hmm.
You're better off now.
That's true. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah,
Um,
simple as.
yeah, I can't say much more than that. So I guess we'll wrap up that one there. We'll try to have
Sure.
maybe I'll plan a little better, and then I'll bug Alex and we'll get the more scientific stuff going
Yeah,
down.
that was a beautiful little segment. I mean, yeah, we could always look into scientific literature and see what it shows as far as actual stress management. But there's a lot of research as far as just exercising
Hmm.
without any weight loss, even just exercising, improving quality of life, longevity, heart health, mental health, all of those things,
Yep.
without affecting anything as far as body composition, which it will. But taking that out of the equation, you will still live a better, happier, healthier life just for this through the process of exercising.
Uh, there's a big thing. The human body was built to move, so you got to
Yeah,
move it.
absolutely,
That's
100%.
it. Yeah. If you move, you feel
Like
better.
like our
Just
friend
move.
Mini Wargaming Dave
Yep.
said, just move. Exactly.
Dave, I know you watch this. Make sure you comment down below. I don't think he has time to do
I
anything.
don't think it's time to watch almost any content.
I wish he did, but brother, stay moving.
That's right.
Well, with that, let's go over to some hobby time.
That's right.
Actually, before we talk about, we had a little relaxed event this past weekend. Some of the guys that missed Teyrathi came out, and then some of the local guys came out. Not a big event weekend, just hang out, play games, we'll eat some food. But did you have any hobby you wanted to talk about before I show pictures of these games?
Sure, I can show you this. I think it's gonna blur out most of it, but here we go.
Oh, you got it done?
We got it done. So I just started building this yesterday,
Mm.
but shout out to my friend Harrison from the UK. I think he listens to this. So
Hey,
uh,
Harrison.
hello, Harrison. Him and I probably hobby once every month or
Okay.
two. We do a hobby chat, and yeah, I finished building the Doom wheel. Not Doom
Nice.
wheel, Screaming Bell.
Screaming Bell. Screaming Bell. Yeah.
But it's for Skaven, and I'm excited to add it to the Skaven Old World Force. Hey, how many points do you think Naked Gracier level 4 on a Screaming Bell costs?
Naked.
Yeah,
240.
400.
Jesus.
It is ridiculous, and it's not that great.
Okay.
It's really not that great.
What I'm hearing is your Lizardman versus my Lizardman versus your
Yes,
Skaven is the best matchup because they're both terrible armies.
they're both terrible armies. Very narrative too.
Yeah, yeah.
There we go.
Well, mine's growing too. I'll have some pictures. Actually, I'll show one right now because I just did a little bit of a kit bashing to it. So my friend from the UK, Kevin, well, he's our friend, world's strongest Warhammer, sent me a late birthday gift, which I'll have pictures up too of these models. But he sent me the Warcry Chameleon Skink Warband
Mhm.
to use, so my Lizardman had at least something competitive in there besides the Carnosaur.
Sure, sure.
And he also sent me a Bugman model from Bugman's Warhammer World, which is great because it was the one I didn't buy when I was over there years
Mm,
ago. I don't know if it was luck or if he somehow knew. Granted, I don't know what to do with that one yet, so it's kind of just sitting in my
sure.
trophy case because I'm like, it's kind of cool. It's unopened. It's old. But I built all the chameleon skinks, and there was 3 like little baby ripperdactyl type things. So they're just ripperdactyls to me, so I got them on bases. But I put a
Beautiful.
little kit bash
Oh,
skink
yeah,
on one, so that way has a rider.
that's awesome.
So it's not in the pictures I took that I have ready to go for chat with Neil, but
Yeah, it's great. I know exactly what it is. Good.
yeah, yeah. So shout out to the UK friends out there supplying
Yeah,
us
my goodness.
Americans with hobby.
Staying us, keeping us consistent.
Yes, yes, exactly. But we had an event weekend, so let me bring up some pictures here. This first one, little 2v2 action going on here
Ooh.
with let's see, there's Alex there, obviously. Our good friend Cole from Big M's Power Hour, who came to visit. And that's me and Neil over there on the other side.
Yeah, so Cole and I were playing Empire and Goblins
Mhm.
versus High Elves, and man, we dominated you guys. We just stomp face, killed 3 dragons.
Yep.
It was almost too easy that game.
Did you kill one dragon?
No,
No, you didn't
we
kill
lost.
one. Yeah.
No, by the way, we lost that game terribly.
It it was funny because I brought that list out first because I know you said you wanted to try against that
I
list.
wanted to play it. Yeah.
Right. But just the way we were lining up, and then I kind of I persuaded. I was like, we need to get the belt moving. I was like, Neil, challenge for the belt, challenge for the belt. So, and he killed more points a year, so it was a
Yes,
belt match for our little
absolutely.
belt that we have amongst the crew there.
Yes.
But yeah, I. So tell me about your side, because like to be fair, we didn't really interact that much. You had a little bit of mixed
No,
in with us,
no.
but like it was mostly me and Cole versus you versus Neil. So tell me about your side with
Yeah.
you versus Neil.
Yeah. So the only thing is, I did send a couple things in to help out Cole, and to be fair, it wouldn't have helped me out much at all. And I didn't have enough space because we were playing on relatively narrow boards
Yeah,
to actually put it into my territory and do well anyway. Yeah, so the game was a little rough. Not gonna lie. I think I could have played way better than I did. I think I could have played better with the same list. I think I allowed him to flank me and charge me from the back, and I didn't position as well as I could have.
sure.
To be fair, though, I still don't know how I would have dealt with the dragon.
Yeah, we were having a discussion last night at club night. Like how do you in goblins only? How do you deal with the
Goblins
dragon?
only.
And like we found some solutions, but like they're not all great solutions. They're
Yeah.
what ifs.
Yeah, they are. It's very challenging for goblins to deal with a very tanky dragon, which is exactly what Neil brought,
Yeah,
right?
he's a very tanky dragon.
Right. And still enough to win every combat you fight against
It's
goblins.
still Star Dragon. Yeah.
Right. It's still a Star Trek. So it's still phenomenal. The way I played the game, I should have been way more aggressive and push my stuff forward, because basically what happened is he kept his big blocks of units with his expensive level 4 and casters and
Hmm.
DSB in the back. And every game I played with goblins, people always came to me, so I
Right.
didn't actually have to move forward a whole lot, and he didn't. So I'm like, oh no. So he threw his dragon, he threw his other fast units in me, and I killed those, did not kill the dragon. So he had a bunch of points sitting in the dragon. He kept his units back,
Yeah.
and
His dragon survived your fanatics too for a round too,
yeah,
didn't?
yeah,
Which is
survived
that's
all.
impressive. That's
Exactly, yeah, survived all the fanatics, and it's a 2 up, 5 up, 5 up. So it's
yeah.
pretty tough to move. And it's still toughness 6, I believe.
Yeah.
So
It's still
even
tough six.
fanatics are
Yep.
only hitting on 5s,
True.
right? So fanatics are good, but they're not phenomenal
Yeah.
depending how
It's
you play
9
them.
wounds. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's very tank. I think I killed like 4 or 5 wounds of it, so it's not. I didn't even get it close. So, but I could have played better. I could have played more aggressive and kind of gotten his face a bit more, which is just a learning experience for me.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what I loved about this weekend is was sometimes we wrote hard stuff, sometimes we wrote soft stuff, but
Sure.
sometimes we hobbied, but it was all in good fun. My side with Cole, and
Hmm.
like I said, my double dragon list, it's all cavalry. So it's silver helms, dragon princes, 2 dragons, a dragon mage, and a prince. It's super offensive. The only thing it's not is 5 sisters of battle to bring the bow to seafarer.
Yeah, I am offended, by the way, by that list.
My list.
Yeah,
Oh, good, you should be.
yeah, you said it's offensive, so
It's offensive. It's very offensive.
yeah.
But I only have a level 2. I don't really care about magic. It's all about
True.
just pushing up and
That's
going. It's very not tactically driven. Uh,
true.
it's just like, here's dragons, deal with it. Um, so I pushed up, and I knew he was gonna get 1 to 2 rounds of shooting against me. I was like, well, maybe I'll if he focuses on the dragon mage, I might lose that one. And I was kind
Sure.
of like braced for it because like I usually lose that dragon at some point in the fight. It's
Sure.
fairly cheap and not the best dragon. And then, like it's not defensive at all. It's just here's a dragon. Um, had just miserable. He whiffed
Yeah.
so much. And then I was able to make a charge, get my dragon into combat with his knights, and just start challenging things out.
Yeah.
And then to be fair, my really offensive prince was like killed archers. Like it was killed
Sure.
killed war machines. Like he was not. He should have been where the dragon mage was. Dragon mage
Right.
could have handled the other stuff easily, but it's just like the
Right.
way
Right.
he did well pairing it off differently. But
Right.
with his 1 round of shooting just kind of failing him, and then me getting into combat, it was even he was just like, okay, all right. And we were playing it.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, we can stop whenever you want. I get it. He's like, no, let's keep playing. He wanted
Yeah.
to see what he could figure out, so we had a good time. There was some fun shenanigans both ways on a few things. But yeah, it's Double Dragons was hard to deal with.
Yeah.
That said, it's one of my competitive lists, but I still am looking at some other ones too, just because I Double Dragons. I don't know if they're gonna be around forever,
Sure. And
which
do
is
you want to
fine.
run more magic, like a level
It
4?
if I was not running Double Dragon, 100%,
Yeah.
because then I'm having infantry or some sort of cavalry that needs better support than just the toughness 4 banner
Sure.
or
That's
toughness,
true.
yeah,
That's true.
toughness +1 banner, I should say. But
Right.
um, but it is nice to have a list that can just be good and be brain off.
Yeah. And it's very consistent, right? It's consistently good.
Yeah.
And right now, there's very few armies who can actually, I mean, besides other double dragon or even a single dragon, tanky dragon list, there's going to be
Well,
very hard to face your dragon.
yeah, against the double dragon list, I'd be a little bit more like, this be interesting. But against the single dragon opponent, my 1 dragon, I'm pretty sure can kill their dragon if I go
Really?
first, because
Okay. So
I have -4 rend, extra attacks.
depends who charges who.
Well, I have strikes first on that
I'm thinking
character.
like another high elf.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
you said,
High elf. Well, maybe simultaneous, but like I have like very little defense on it. I think I'm like a two.
oh, so you made it really
I think I'm
offensive.
like a
Okay.
2 up, 5 up, or a 2 up, 6 up. Like I don't have regen. It's not.
Okay, so it might be easier. So if I got to face you, I just don't let you come to me and have to kill you with
Yeah,
an axe or something.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. It's my list is lost once, but
Okay.
but regardless, I'm still toying with it. It's having a good time with it. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was that was a fun matchup. I'm excited that at least I got to interact with some of your goblins and kill a few. because it was a doubles game, and I was like, okay, I'm glad we
Sure,
did because you had to
sure.
leave right as I wiped off Cole.
Right,
So it was
right.
like
And
it
I
would
mean,
have been the
honestly,
sweep. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And I couldn't have. I still had actually a lot of models on the table, but I had to leave, and I knew where the game was going.
it was just be killing goblins, and then yeah,
all
two
of
more
my fanatics
dragons.
were all of my fanatics were out. All of my fighting power was out. All of my, for the most part, my level fours were in combat, so I couldn't cast spells.
Right.
Right. So there was very very little could actually do at this point.
I did I did put I put double trophies. I put a little painted a little mushroom and a little empire shield. Put them next to each other on a
Good,
Larian Reaver basis. My trophy for that fight.
good. I like
Um,
that. I like that.
yeah, I wish I did more to you though. I'm like that mushroom's just there out of symbolic nature. I didn't do.
Sure,
I killed like
sure.
what two things of yours. Some
Yeah, I think
the guy the squig war boss guy was running
the
away,
Wallop was one hit wonder.
and I
Yeah,
might have
and
killed the unit of
like a
squig
squig.
riders.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
Like
Which is exactly what I sent to help Cole, and then
exactly,
they
yeah.
died. I think I did one wound to your dragon. I'm pretty
You
sure.
did. Oh
Did I
yeah,
do
yeah,
one?
you did. Yeah, you did one
Yes,
to the
yes.
dragon, which is
Moral victory.
one more than Cole did.
140-point character. Did one wound. Yes.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, no, that was a great game. That was a great game. I
Did you
loved
say
it.
did one more than Cole did?
I think so. Yeah, I don't
That's
think he wounded.
awful.
Maybe he wounded my dragon mage. I can't recall, but it
Maybe.
was
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Good.
Um,
I was talking to Cole about how to make the Empire better, and we were struggling. It's rough.
well, actually, Brad, so our good friend Brad, he's very good at making things work that you don't
He
expect.
is. He
He
is. He
bought the Arcane Journal Empire to read it and help Cole,
is.
which was really funny because Cole went to go buy it the next day, and it's like it was Brad bought the last one. It's like what?
What the heck? I need
Yeah,
that. That's
yeah,
hilarious.
yeah. I mean, oh, you might have a PDF, but anyway. Um, so after
Funny.
that, it did turn out that the belt changed hands.
Yes.
Here's Alex bestowing it upon Neil. Um,
Well deserved. Well deserved. And Neil is such a great. I mean, actually, it's funny because Neil said that was the first game that he actually won against me.
I mean, it is to be fair. You're a very strong opponent. I have not won much against you either.
Depends what game and what kind
Yeah,
of. Yeah.
the Sigmar, I have zero chance. Zero
Yeah, when I
chance.
when I lock in, I understand Sigma relatively well.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I think with old world, you understand the mechanics really well, and I think I would even say better than me. But I understand the BS of my list building that can negate like okay, I don't care what you do to me, you can't kill this. Like that's my strength right now. And once you get there, then I'm in trouble again.
I am enjoying getting better at the game though. Like I am seeing more and more layers of old world now,
hmm
and every time I lose, I'm like, oh, okay, this
I
is what I need.
know, isn't it? It's so fun losing this game because you're just like, I
It's
need to
it
go
is
fix this.
It is awesome because, like, even the list building recently, I'm like, okay, well, I should give this character a 5-point magic weapon, so I have magical attacks just in case he has ethereal, right? So I'm
Right.
like thinking like in layers now. So it's been fun.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I'm liking it. Like I said, I was so happy when my double dragon list lost.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
good.
So now you know how to fight that army.
Well, exactly. Plus, also, I'm like, how can I make it not lose?
Right, right,
um,
exactly.
which yeah, that's fun because even though in a couple weeks time I have a Sigmar event to go to, I still haven't built that list. Um,
That's funny.
uh,
Not in Sigma mode.
it's I want to be. I want to be.
Yeah,
I want to.
yeah.
I still this whole basement's Daughters of Cain, and I love them so much. So like we'll get there. Um, but let's see. They got another game. I think this was the late night game that night for you. Uh, you and Brad versus Cole, and was this when you were trying to help Cole get better with
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, it was actually the Friday night, so before it was when
Oh,
people were
it was
driving
before.
for the event.
Okay, so this was before the game we just played. Sorry, I'm a little out of order
Right,
here.
it was before the game we played. It was a game. Honestly, it was a game I wanted to play with Cole because I haven't played with Cole for a while.
Sure.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, Cole, you're here. Let's play a game. And then Brad joined us, which was great.
hmm
So we did 2,000 points total with Brad and I each playing 1,000 points, facing Cole's 2,000. And Cole brought a slightly different list, which I would say was even worse than what he brought against you
Oh, okay.
because he had no BSB. So if he failed
Yeah.
leadership, he just fled.
Right.
And also, he had all of his 3 level 4 wizards solo on foot with no other infantry around.
Oh, so like no protection.
which means I could shoot them with my crappy short bows bowman and weight of dice kill a level 4 in one turn.
Mm, mm.
Yeah. Yeah, it was rough. It was very rough. Yep. That's it was great. I got to play against Cole. He's awesome. But yeah, it was a challenging game.
Wait, Cole's still learning this game too, and
That's true.
as I told him, and Brad and you and all this, like when I was first starting out, I think I was double digit losses before things clicked. And I was like, oh, I can win this game now.
Yep.
I just took a
Yep.
while.
And that's the thing is like you can theory hammer all day long, but until you actually put it on the table, you won't know how to get better at this game.
Exactly.
Yep.
But I got another nice picture here. Looks a little you and Matt, and that's a little Dave Roke in the background there.
Yeah. Dave Rook was killing it with the hobby for the whole weekend.
Oh my god, he painted actual stuff. He painted more than he did all year.
He painted like a bunch of clan rats, 3 rat ogres, and a big rat ogre monster thing.
Yep.
So yeah, he was doing great. But yeah, Matt also great friend. I
Big
whenever he comes
Power Hour
down,
shout out. Come back
yes,
soon.
yeah. And I like to play him at least once anytime he comes down.
Yeah.
So actually, I was very surprised because I came back to the event pretty late because I had to leave for a few hours,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like 10:30 or 11. And I'm like, "Hey, Matt, do you want to get a game in? I know it's pretty late." He's like, "Yeah, let's do it." I'm like, "Awesome, okay,
Yeah,
let's
he had
do
his
that."
new Chaos Dwarves. He was excited. I think that was his maybe
Yeah,
second game of the day.
yeah, that was great. So we played it. Boy, Chaos Dwarfs are not good right now. I mean, I
Well,
and
wait till I tell you about my game with him with Lizardman over when I talk about this
and
with Neil.
I
Wait.
even because I was aware that Chaos Dwarves were not great because they're one of the legacy armies, I even made like a fluffier list. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna drop a level 4.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring spider riders and a spider character because they're not very good, right? I'll bring some artillery that's random, like a stone thrower. And yeah, it honestly it felt they were really fun, they were really flavorful. I liked their rules, but it felt like I was playing 2000 points versus 1400 points.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a good way to say that. Now Matt did actually change his list
Okay.
for the next day, so he found a little bit more power out of it.
Okay.
So
Good.
maybe it's like 1,700 points.
Maybe. Yeah, but honestly, like the rules weren't bad. Everything he was playing was fine,
Hmm.
but it just felt like he didn't have enough on the table.
And keep in mind too, we're just fully adopted the Renegade pack that Val did over in Square
Mhm,
Based
mhm.
because it makes things play right. It doesn't, and
Yes.
it's like it's not making things overpowered. So
No, absolutely not.
yeah,
It makes it playable, at
yeah, it makes
least.
it playable. Um, but yeah, no, I was exhausted because I was getting like 5 hours of sleep a night. So
Sure.
I clean up, I'd go home and all that sort of stuff. So
Sure.
and like I think it was like 1 o'clock. I'm like, I'm out, guys. See ya. But yeah, that's all the pictures I have. I'm not sure, but did I miss any that you sent?
Well, you were playing your game. Yeah, you had a game with Matt, right?
I did, but I'll talk about that with Neil.
Oh,
So
sure.
yeah, yeah.
I had one more game with Mark. I'm not sure if you have that picture,
I don't know. Can you
but I'll start talking about it
can you
while we look
drop it
for
in this chat?
it.
See if you can. I don't know.
Yeah, actually, I
Just
totally
so I
can.
don't leak the group chat.
Let me. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, super secret group chat.
Super secret group where it's just it's just us talking about high elves and just posting elf emojis. That's it. And we're not.
All right, I
Is there
am.
even a chat here?
Yeah, yeah, there is. There is. Let me pull
I don't even
up.
know where it's
But yeah,
at.
it was a game against Mark's Bretonians, and it was awesome because he's like, we did not talk for the list at all. Like, okay, yeah, let's just play it. So I'm expecting his knights and his lances, and
Oh,
like,
so
okay,
here we go.
setting up for it. And I brought the fluffy list I played with the fluffier list. It still
Yeah, yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
like
yeah. Hmm.
completely wash over. Let's see. Did that work? No.
Yeah, that was I remember catching little bits of that game, but I think I was deep into the hobby at that point. I built so much this
Sure.
weekend.
Yep, I don't think you can. So I'm just going to talk about it without a
Okay, just
picture.
talk about that's fine. All good. Figure it out
But it
next
was
time.
great. So I brought a slightly more quote unquote fun list, but it was still a good list. It wasn't complete wash. And he brought a very good list with all knights, a few peasant bowmen, but it was all just lances, lances, lances. A highlight of the game for me
Oh,
was early in the game. doing so well with artillery that one of
Here we
his
go.
units.
Here we go.
There we go, beautiful.
Yeah, it's glorious. That's the
This is
quality
the
you want.
high quality content you're not paying for.
That's the most. That was awful. Anyway, sorry.
And the highlight for me was doing very. So turn one, I have 3 bolt throwers. 2 of them hit a 5 and kill like 6 knights in one unit.
Okay. Yep.
It was
Great.
phenomenal. And the one unit failed the battle shock or failed the leadership and fled.
Okay.
Didn't flee off the board, but close. All right. That was the highlight of the game. Bolt throwers didn't do anything else the whole game.
Oh no.
And the highlight for him was releasing the Green Knight, which I totally forgot about, or just actually did not know about.
If you're not ready
Charging my
for it,
unit.
yeah, it hurts.
If I wasn't ready for it, he charges my unit with a level 4. Did not cast a single spell with him the rest of the game.
Oh.
And I kept my because I didn't know that he was coming, because I'm familiar with his rules.
Right.
But I totally just did not expect him to come. I had my only character with the magic weapon on the other side of the board.
Useless.
And he already moved forward. So I'm like, it was going to take me 2 turns to get back and maybe make it, right? So I didn't, and it was actually still a relatively close game, back and forth. Fanatics did great. His lenses did great. There were a lot of swinging moments, but he consistently kept doing slightly better than me.
Sure.
So in the end, the victory went to the Bretonians.
Well, there you go.
But it was a really fun game. Mark is a great opponent, and it was a very, very enjoyable game. And now I know to maybe get a few more magic weapons in my list.
Yeah, I mean, just throw a couple burning blades on there just in case.
That's exactly what I'm doing. Yeah.
Just to get one more through, and that way you can win in combat res.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, it's. I look forward. I mean, obviously, you'll probably hear me and rehash some of this stuff with our game that we had, that big game. But
Sure.
yeah, it was a good weekend. Like I said, I got so much built.
Yeah.
So I'll talk about more, but I may be a proud owner of 5 total dragons now in my high elf collection.
Wowza.
Yep.
That's a lot of dragons.
Yep. Can't run them all at the same time, but I got them.
Can you make a list and just like keep super naked dragons? How many could you fit? 3? Like lowest level, no magic items, just
that's a good
garbage
question.
Dragons.
Maybe dragon mage. I'm gonna check it out right now while we're just sitting here chatting.
That could be a fun, like, hey, I'm bringing a dragon list, but it's a fluffy dragon list. That could be a fun matchup.
Let's see. Let's
go
to
3 dragons.
Elf Realms, Grand Army, Dragon Mage. Sure, you can be the general.
That's a dragon list I would actually face.
Oh, can't have 2 generals, and let's duplicate that. No, because I can only bring. Because it's you know what? Maybe because I can bring 2 dragon mages, but they're 1 per 1,000 points.
Right.
Oh, I just deleted the whole list. There's a chance. I don't think it's a great chance. But I think I might be able to.
That could be fun. Yeah. Just no artifact, nothing. Not to be competitive, but just to put 3 dragons on the board.
3 dragons, and then here's spearmen. Go. You're going to win this game most likely.
But yeah, it could be fun. But like if I maybe brought my Skaven or something like that.
Yeah, I'll see. That'd be a fun one to play against. I don't think it's gonna ever win a game.
Yeah, but it could be fun to play 3 dragons on the table. Yeah, exactly. No, this is not. This is just the fact that, hey, I have 5 dragons, so I want to put as many dragons as I can on the table.
Listen, every 1,000 points I get in my list, another dragon. Boom, boom, boom. You want to play 5,000 points? I can bring 5 dragons.
Yeah, you could easily play that game.
Yeah,
like 5 times.
I mean, half the list is dragons, so they're gonna be like 500 points each.
Cool.
Yeah, but yeah, I can't wait to talk about it. Actually, I'm a little excited, so I'm gonna show this off real quick. You saw me building it last night. I kit bashed up a Stormweaver on Unicorn.
Ooh.
Using Tyrnuk Chariot horse.
Oh, yeah.
Little horn that I stole from the spine of a dragon, and then a dragon mage. Because like, look how big that is.
Yeah, that's a big old base.
Well, it's a big base, but I like that his cloak's bigger. Like I could see a Stormweaver being like very flamboyant.
Yeah, that's a fun character to run around. Very easy to kill, unfortunately.
Yes.
But depending what army you face.
It is. But hey, it's fine. I got him now, and I don't have to wait for that made to order that hasn't happened yet for that really old one that I'm going to buy, even though it's ugly.
Sure, sure. You have to.
Cool. Well, with that, Alex, anything you want to say before we part ways for this podcast with you and head over to Neil?
No.
Cool. Bye.
Bye.
And we are back much earlier than where we left you guys off with Alex and me on a Thursday afternoon. It's now a Saturday early morning, and the champ is gonna champ.
Just your average belt winner from over the weekend. That's all.
That's true. He's not taking it off for shower or alone time.
Hashtag the belt stays on. That
Yeah.
is the.
It does. It does. He absolutely has to. It's fun to see that belt over in Ohio for the time being, but we will get it back.
Just making sure it soaks in a lot of that Ohio goodness.
Mm.
All right, and you wear this belt from now on, and much like the Nemesis crown, it affects your brain. It makes you want to start living in flat areas, right? You know.
No, actually, well, that belt was born in well, it's probably born in like China somewhere, but
It's like Sigmar's hammer. It's like Galmaraz. It takes up the qualities of those it destroys.
oh, there you go. There you go. I like it. Mm. But well, it's nice to see that belt again. But for now, we must talk very important chat, Neil. How's your lawn?
Oof. We're in a crazy kind of part of the year right now. All right, this is when in Ohio, at least, it rains every single day without pause, and the grass grows, but it's also 40 degrees.
Yep.
And the grass is sopping wet, so you can't cut the grass because it does continue to grow. So it's looking a mess. It needs a cut. It can't get a cut. By the time it's dry enough to cut it, it will be 10 feet tall. And so I see some crazy people go out back here with lawnmowers and start cutting their grass and leaving like these giant divots from the wheels of the lawnmower in there. That's no good. You can't have that.
It's not. It's the same thing here, although we had a day break. And I was telling the story with Alex earlier, but one of my neighbors decided to cut the lawn and no one else did. And we're just like, no, buddy, no. Too early, too soon.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad the lawn's doing well.
But it's crossing my mind. It's definitely crossing my mind.
Oh, yeah. It's. I can only assume they're young. I can only assume that they're inexperienced. Hopefully they've learned a valuable lesson. If not, I'll go dig up their yard and salt their earth and let them know that they've made a grave mistake.
The salting of the earth gets them every time.
It does. It does. I'm glad for that. Yeah. So we came. It's weird that it's been a week already. You know, just how much time flies.
Yeah,
but
it really is. Yeah.
last week we had our little Adepta Won't gathering, I guess we could say. Just a little gaming weekend. It was more for a weekend for the couple of you guys who couldn't make it out for Terathi. But we always have like a little gaming event in March, it seems, as a little crew. So it was fun to have that again and get to hang out and have a chill weekend.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. In fact, honestly, that could be my preference, really. I mean, events being what they may, but yeah, I mean, a lot of fun was had, a lot of Warhammer was played, some beers were drank. You know?
Yeah, I think most of us were pretty good on the beer. A few people got a little too much, but that's their prerogative, and that was their struggle the next day or so. I had a nice sleep in my bed each night and was very, very well contained and had a great time having coffee in the morning with you. Good time.
Nice little Saturday morning, little rain pitter pattering outside the barn. Not this really, drinking some coffee. That was awesome.
It's amazing. But I got some pictures here from the event weekend. They'll bleed in a little bit into hobby time here. So first up is just a nice picture. I think you took this original picture. Actually, no, you're in this picture. Someone outside. I can't take credit for the framing of this picture because it's dark outside. All the lights are on inside. You're playing a game against Luke. The Columbus Crew game's going on.
Oh yeah.
Just a nice frame shot of Neil in action. And current belt winner at this time too, I believe.
Yeah, not a great profile of me, but we'll let it go. It is what it is.
So yeah, there's some more flattering pictures of you coming up. This picture is here too, not because Dave or Brad or Mark in here are anything to look at of, but anytime I get Taylor Swift on in the barn, which is every time we play Warhammer, I just gotta take a picture of it. It makes me happy. So
I was enjoying it, and then Tom came by and turned it off. But
it's okay. It's okay. I've let him know my displeasure. But just another good shot of a nice game going on. It was Tomb Kings versus Orcs and Goblins. So good times.
That looked like a really cool. It was a cool looking game.
It was,
sure.
yeah.
Game models, everything. Yeah.
Then let's see, another little game here. Took a picture of. Looks like Cole's Empire against Carl's Empire. It was a little Empire Civil War and some burgers that we were eating, having a good Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
So
Empire match there.
Yeah.
Cole a little paint to that army a little bit more.
Hey, Carl.
He's still trying to figure it out, so he's trying to figure out what's the priority right now before our event in May.
Exactly, and that's completely understandable. Just figuring out the army because, we told the story. I ran him over.
Yeah.
Next up here, we had Cole yet again, throwing himself into the gauntlet to learn this army. So I'm sitting there hobbying away on my high elves, and this time Cole was playing Matt and his brand new Chaos Dwarves printed by you, Neil.
Mm-hmm. Pretty sweet looking army, if I do say so myself. And unfortunately, hasn't had the luck with it yet. Hasn't quite figured out how to make that particular army work. From what he painted, there were some things missing. Maybe he had to proxy some things.
He switched one of the units to be something else, and it definitely helped a little bit. Yeah, and to be fair, I couldn't tell the difference, so he could just say that, and I think we're all good to go.
Yeah. So he's got some. I think he needs to add some things to the list. I think he needs somebody on a Taurus. Those Tauruses can get up to toughness 7.
Oh wow!
So you put one of those things out there, and all of a sudden now you got something that can toe to toe with dragons.
Or hold up a big night block.
Yeah. So then you got something to go out there and attack while you're using the rest of your army to shoot the hell out of people. So.
I think you should maybe also look into a small, probably Black Orc, kind of speed bump too, possibly. I mean, and it's the thing. It's thematic. I know he's like, oh, dwarves, but it's just it's very thematic for them to have that. So. I'd be all for that.
I was really impressed. Brad was playing a large block of Savage Orcs that were biggins.
Mm-hmm. They were biggins.
I don't know if they had great weapons or what the weapon choice was, but it was a large block, and he was doing very well with that large block, combined with some Savage Orcs on the piggies. So it was. They had a wyvern in there.
Yep.
Interesting army. Brad always comes up with interesting armies. I will give that to him 100%. It's usually not like what you'd expect to see. Like there wasn't a single fanatic in that army. Find one. You can't.
No one.
And he was mowing people over.
Yeah, here I'll zoom in on his army.
Yes. I have lots of goblins and stuff, so I've never personally figured out how to make that army work without just loads and loads of fanatics. But an itchy nuisance. But it was cool to see. I love to see the list that Brad puts together.
Yeah, it's a very honest list of just here. Can you deal with this? And
right, it's coming fast.
Yeah,
it's not doing anything else. So, it's coming quick at you.
Yeah, to be fair, it's just this old Savage, is Sigmar Savage, Bone Splitters.
Yeah,
it's just that army, and he's just like, okay, well, it's no longer in Sigmar, and he just boop. Back to old world, and it works. It's like, okay.
Yeah. I sent him a message on Facebook. I know he signed up for Brew Brawl as well at the end of May. just to let him know that they have to be based on squares. He's not going to be able to get away with the circles on the tray.
Okay, yeah.
So
Well, you might want to
yeah,
message him. I'll try and remind him too, but you might want to message him a
yeah,
lot.
because I don't know how often he checks his Facebook Messenger. So he needs to get to hobbying that pretty soon if he's willing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he can knock that out in a day, but yeah, he's
Yeah.
or he'll have to bring something else,
Yeah,
which he
yeah,
might do too. He's
yeah.
um, yeah. But anyway, even more pictures coming here. Watch out. So this is that nice little lovely game here. I see a couple high elf brothers in arms in the game that versus Alex and Cole that Alex and I talked about a little bit. But give me your perspective of this.
This finally, Chuck and Neil gets to team up with the High Elves. This is been something that we've been talking about for, geez, over a year, maybe since the inception of the old world.
Yeah, I think at least since the middle part of when we did the armies on parade as a crew, because I had my high elves ready and you were working on yours. I think sometime in there is when we were just like, we got to make this happen.
Yeah, this is a purely strength hammer battle as well.
It's true.
So, and also the little spoilers to start out with, but this was my first ever victory over Alex ever. I've known him for some time now.
Yeah, him and I were laughing at that because like this past week we were talking about. He's like, I don't know how to handle a dragon with my army, let alone two. And I said, well, I mean, if you handle one, you can probably handle two. You just got to hold up the other one.
Yeah.
And we were working through it, and because Alex is just orcs and goblins, and I haven't like there's options. I'm like, here's an option, but like none of them are guaranteed. Like I feel like I could get almost a little bit more guarantee in my army as a high elf player than he can.
What you have to do, and what he did, but I designed my list to try and stop that. And I think the more that I play high elves, the more that I see those 50-point items that are auto dispels.
Yeah,
are just huge. I mean, it's a lot of points for one auto dispel, right?
but you stop that 1 inch nuisance that could win you the
Right.
game.
That's the way you deal with it if you have goblins, right? You just hit it with itchy nuisance, you bring out your fanatics, and before you know it, that thing is just minced, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you roll the 3 on it. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, if you got 2 different wizards that cast itchy nuisance twice, plus you do an evil sun shining to drop down their armor save and everything, and then you also had another one that was doing what is it, battle magic that has the rust spell.
Plague of Rust.
Plague of Rust, yeah. Like that's the way you do. I mean, he was set up correctly,
Right.
but I was just dispelling, and so
Yeah.
when that happens, so it was an interesting game because
Right.
we played on a table that was let's see, we were
12 by 9.
Yeah, 3 squares wide.
I thought we were.
By,
oh yeah, we were 3. I'm sorry. Yeah, we were. We were
yeah,
not
3
9 by 9.
squares wide by
3
squares deep, right? So 9 by what? 2, 4, 6, 6 by 6.
6 by 6. You're right. Yep.
Yeah.
Early
So
morning
I
math for us.
planned on setting up my stuff just wherever it seemed like the most useful, but then it's just redeployed. It just wound up being kind of me versus Alex and you versus Cole. And the way that went with your 2 dragon list, and I think predictably so, was with Cole getting run over.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many turns it took you, maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah, I'd say probably about 4. Like 3 to be like, okay, I got this. 4 to all right, I'm wiping it up, and 5 was like, all right, I'm turning.
Yeah.
I will say this. Shout out to Cole too. I almost forgot to charge in my Larian Reavers into his war machines at some point. He's just like, hey, you want to do this, right? I'm like, yeah. So fair play. Appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, my army is very self-sufficient in and of itself. Like I don't need to be near anything. Each unit is just there to do its own job.
Yeah,
and every
elves, 2 dragons.
Yeah, and yours, it plays a little bit more slightly together. It's not fully independent when you get dragon, but every time we were deploying, you're just like, I'm good. So like it's like I'll just leave my stuff over here then. I almost threw my dragon prince over to your side or my prince on dragon, and just because I was looking at the list, I'm like, I think my dragon mage can handle this with my night bus.
Yeah.
But you're like, nah, I got it, and yeah, you did. You like, which was good because it was a belt match. But yeah, you handled everything.
Alex held the belt, and so there was a challenge. I wasn't initially going to challenge him because I'm thinking to myself, I've never beat Alex before. This ain't going to work anyway, so why even worry about it? But the challenge did go up, so we had to win, and I had to kill more of his army personally. My army had to kill more of his than yours did of his, or however it worked.
Right.
So,
which, to be fair, I killed a few. I killed like one of his leaders, and I was about to run over a unit of Squig Riders. That was it.
Yeah.
By the time the game wrapped
he
up,
had a similar unit like that on the other side as well. I had a really hard time, which is hilarious, getting rid of his Mangler Squig, and it's toughness 5, and I'm shooting the hell out of it, but I couldn't wound this son of a bitch, and or I was, but just like one at a time, just not enough to kill it. Anytime I've run those, I've run 2 of them before because they're 95 points apiece, right? So why not, right? But it was just not falling for me. So that was kind of he didn't wind up getting it into anything because I used evasive very well. My sister's an Avalon, so
Yep.
As well as the reserve move and everything when I was able to get off Walk Between Worlds, which makes them ethereal and have reserve move. So a lot of playing around with that, but you have to be careful with where you put your wizard in high elves.
You do, yeah.
Because if he's in that unit, right, and that unit backs up, and then you're out of range to use your auto dispel that you put that's worth 50 points on it, you have to wonder why you did that.
Yep, you do.
So multiple times during the game, I'm like, shit, I'm out of range. If he hits me with that itchy nuisance, we are in trouble. And luckily, I was able to just naturally dispel it for the most part. Anyway, so or he failed to cast it. It was just a little poor luck on his point there. I think he should have been a little more aggressive.
Yeah, I think even he agrees to that. He was a little bit more defensive. I think because he was on the hill, he felt a little bit more safe. But yeah, it's your army's definitely more like shooting is important for your army. And if he's not taking out that shooting, then he's just going to keep getting peppered while these dragons are coming in. And those bolt throwers on the Skycutters, you've got me convinced they're solid.
They really are, because they're as flankers, they just go anywhere you want them to, right? So you just have to remember that you do lose that free 90-degree spin if you march, right?
Yep.
So you just got to remember that.
I was kind of shocked. I'm like, you don't have through and through, but you still have the multiple wounds, and it's still pretty strong. So it's like, okay.
The multiple wounds, but it's just like, strength 5, right? You wish it was 6.
You wish it was, yeah.
So because if it was, then you're hitting like strength 5 on a 3, right? But a lot of the time it's just like, okay, I rolled a hit. Whew, because I moved and everything else, like maybe it's on a 4, maybe it's on a 5, right?
Right.
And finally, you roll that 5, right? Then it's a 4 up, and you fail it.
Yeah. It's like, and we wish we could kill dragons with it, but that wouldn't solve a dragon issue in this game, because then just the high elves are the dragon issue.
I'm becoming like I told Matt's building a dwarf list. He's not taking his chaos dwarves. He just needs to flush out the army a little bit more. But I told Matt, it's just like, whatever you do, just plan to have your army able to kill a dragon. If you can kill 2, great, right? But be able to kill at least 1 dragon. If you can do that, you're going to win a couple games, all right? At least. Right, if your army's capable of doing that. So
and it's not because I think it's not because there's a ton of dragons going to be at the event we're going to. There's going to be a few for sure, but if you can kill a dragon, you can kill anything else.
Right. That's because there will be toughness 6, right?
Yeah,
there will be.
That's all.
Right?
Yeah,
and that's what you're worried about, really. Because I won't get into that yet, but we'll talk about my game with Luke. But pretty epic battle there. But I don't know. I'm getting more and more convinced about Monster Slayer swords and things like that.
Opal amulets.
yeah, I really am. So,
well, we'll talk about that game with Luke, since we kind of saw actually that preview, that silhouette picture was you versus Luke. But before we get into that, let's look at this lovely picture of you, a giant mug of beer, a nice little Columbus Crew outfit, and the belt is on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So that's the flattering picture right there.
Yeah. That's a
One
good
of
one
two,
right
actually. One
there.
of two. We have another one. Just to give your voice a small break, I'll talk about my second game of the weekend because I did lots of hobby, which I'll talk about at the end. But so Sunday rocked up, and I was like, I'm gonna be a little lazy. Didn't bring my high elves, just brought my lizardman. And I was like, hey Matt, do you want to go against my lizardman after he just I think after Cole just beat him up with his empire, his tweaked empire. Matt's like, yeah, sure, let's go. And I was like, all right. And it was real funny because we were sitting there and deploying, and Brad showed up. And like I said, we've talked about Brad. He's very good at seeing things in lists that most people can't. He's just that type of player. And I'm deploying. I'm like, man, Matt, you have not much to worry about. And Brad's like, you got a Carnosaur. I'm like, I have one Carnosaur that's going to die. He's like, you got a Troglodon. I'm like, Troglodons suck. I love them, but they suck. He's like, what about this? I said, my Cold One Riders might do something. And they did. They're the only thing that performed at all. And he's just like, nah, you could win with this. I'm like, I'm not saying I can't win. I'm just saying it's a giant pain, and it's very unlikely. And that said, game went exactly as expected. And Matt was making these huge rolls to chase down my fleeing units because he was destroying me. The only thing I had anything to do anything good was my knights. And went down to a man. He tabled me, I think, top of 6 or bottom of 5. So and that was after he tweaked this list a little bit. So it was a good time. I had a fun time with it because like my Lisbon are just simple, push forward, have fun, see what happens. And like I don't care about losing with them because they're just for fun. So like I said, I don't know. I'm trying to think what else to talk about during this game other than
Did you use the Renegade pack?
Yes, I was using the Renegade pack. Although I wasn't using too much of the specific rules for it, just because I'm missing some of the units to take advantage of some of the corrections.
Yeah.
But my Carnosaur challenging out, I think, a champion, and Matt still killed enough to win the combat by 1 because my jungle swarms were in there. But him just going, okay, the Carnosaur is pretty good. I'm like, yeah, that's probably one of my best units, but I've lost combat by 1, and then I rolled double 6s, and then I fled, and he caught me.
It's freaking worse, man.
Yeah.
Like when that happens with a dragon, it's so disheartening. Like, you got level here, you got a 10 on your leadership, right? You roll that 11 or 12, and it runs away, and it runs, fuck all. And
Yeah.
again, you got 3 dice to run away, right? And it doesn't.
There's multiple times where like some of my fleas were really good, and he caught me, and other times it was like I'd roll like 3 in total, and be like, well, shoot.
Yeah. And then, for me, sometimes, I'll point that thing in a certain direction and we'll be like, God, this thing's not going to lose, right? And then it does lose and it does flee. And I'm pointed in a position where, like, I'm just going to flee right off the board, right? And I didn't even think about that because I didn't even consider losing, right?
Right. Yeah, the thing with Carnosaur, too, it's just like, oh, it's Carnosaur, it's toughness 6 and it has high strength. I'm like, yeah, I kid out my guy up top. He's solid, but it's not a dragon.
Yeah. What strength is it? 6 or 7?
I think it is strength 6, but the problem is its stomp isn't as great.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and like the armor's not like it. I think he's a 3-up because I don't know if I can get him to a 2-up. But what I do have is I have the Blade of the Revered Zunki. And he has a ward too, but the blade essentially is like, yeah, no armor, no ward, just regens. So he will win any duel he's in. But let's jump back because I want to hear about your game versus Luke because that was my 2 games. I saw it win with Empire, technically Goblins. I did take a little trophy on my Larian Reavers. There's a little Empire shield and a little mushroom I painted up to go on my little trophy. I don't think I grabbed a picture of that, but and then a crushing defeat by the Chaos Dwarves. But lots of hobby too, which to talk about. But like, tell me about. Let's see, because you had 3 games this weekend, right?
I had 3. So my first game was actually against Mark. But we'll talk about Luke's game right now.
Okay, talk about Luke's and then Mark's. Yeah.
This was the first time I've ever played against High Elves. I've never played against high elves in any fantasy edition ever, because I've always been high elves. I don't know. I've never really gone to big events or anything
And
like
you and
that.
I have never really played old world like against each other either. And I probably
Right.
was bringing dark elves the one time we did.
Yeah, right. You know, so the one time you brought it to my house, you had dark elves, right? So you smashed me off the board with them, but that was a really big beatdown. Yeah, so I played Luke, and Luke had an interesting list. Not a list that, unlike one that I've run in the past, where he had a dragon, he had a griffin,
Yeah.
he had. Now he did have sword masters with a level 1 wizard, and he had. And I thought this is an interesting way he did it. He had Northern Seaguard, and he had his level 4 in there. He also had a unit of 5 silver helms. He had a bolt thrower, and he had a unit of 10, 10 shadow warriors,
Yeah,
which were surprisingly effective, by the way.
he's
Uh,
I mean he's his list, Luke is very much a like this is what he had like left, like, from coming into the game, having, he found an Isle of Blood set, finding old stuff, secondhand shop stuff.
yeah,
So it's kind of like just what he was able to get in
yeah,
essence. So he's learned how to make it work. Like he's the best I've seen of Shadow Warriors. Actually, my whenever I was building my list a year ago, it was after talking to him, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna start playing with my level 4 bunkered in my Sea Guard, because they're not a threat and no one cares to go after them. But my mage can make them a threat, and it can be more of a threat in a block that no one cares to fight anyway, because they just don't think it's useful.
right,
So
right.
like after talking to him, that's why like my original list, which is still a good list, it's a much more honest list, but yeah, that's why I have a Sea Guard with the mage in it, because it's a quality combo.
Mm-hmm. So my list had a unit of Sea Guard. That's where my level 4 sat in. It had a unit of 5 sisters with the.
Oh, the
He had 5 sisters as well.
Oh,
I had a
nice.
unit of 5 sisters with the Seafarer, which is pretty much an
It's
auto include in my
Man,
army.
it's so good. It's so good.
Uh, yeah, I don't know how I just leave that at home ever. And then I had a dragon, Star Dragon Prince. And this was like Chariots Go Wild list, right? So I had a unit of 5 Illyrian Reavers. I had 2 Tyrannok Chariots, 2 Lion Chariots,
Oh my
and
goodness.
a Sky Cutter.
I'm pretty sure I was like deep into hobbying, or maybe I was cooking at this time, but man, I'm sad I didn't see that list. Holy crap, that is Chariots Go Wild.
It is Chariots Go
I
Wild,
love it.
and because what the plan was is that the chariots just support the dragon. Like the dragon goes forward, I say good luck, right, and then the chariots start banging in right behind, or they support the dragon if it needs to be supported. And then the Sky Cutter just zooms up the board as far as it can and goes after the bolt thrower, goes after the sisters, things like that, which it did, and it did well.
Nice.
His Shadow Warriors almost popped a Tyrannok chariot on the first time they fired.
I mean, like long range, good shots, but they're only strength 3, and there's no way to like get decent
Strength
armor
3,
banding.
toughness 4, you got 10 shots on a very high ballistic skill.
Just weighted
You know,
dice.
you roll dice well, and all of a sudden you're taking fire, and let's say you get 4 wounds on you, right? You got a 5 up save. If you roll poorly like I do, that's 3 wounds right there.
Yeah.
So I got 1 save, was able to keep it alive for an extra turn, which is huge, by the way, because the desire, and I noticed this against Alex too, right? The way the current scoring system is set up, it's so terrible to leave something on 1 wound.
Yeah. Yeah. You
It's
want
the
to
worst,
kill it.
right?
Yeah.
Because then you have to spend another turn trying to kill that to make sure that you get the points, even if it's not the most, necessary thing to kill, right? You've got to like shoot it again, right? When those shots could be probably put into something different to try and take something else out.
Yep.
For Alex, I shot a bunch of his squig hoppers, right? I got down to 1 squig hopper left. Their immune to psychology didn't matter, so they are not going anywhere.
Yep.
And
Just hurts.
and so he had just this one guy just parked behind a house. I couldn't see. And eventually he brought him back out. I'm like, well, I'm going to shoot that so I can get the points, you know?
Yep.
But I'm like, boy, I hate to level this entire unit of Sea Guard into this one guy, like it's stupid, right? but you do it because so
Yeah.
that you can get the points. I did set up my Illyrian Reavers in a marching column. This is the first time I've done that. Now they're not drilled. I'm
Right.
not sure if I recommend this.
Yeah, I
or
was just like, how
not.
did that go for you? Because I usually run just skirmish and don't care about
So
things.
what I was worried about was where he had his Griffin set up.
Okay.
I was worried that that thing was just going to charge in and just tear those Tyrannite chariots to pieces, tear the Illyrian Reavers to pieces. So he brought them up, and I ran. Let's see, in a march. I think I went. So it's 9 times 3, 27 inches with these guys
Whew, boy.
down the side of the board. So I was able to get them out of all of his charge arcs.
Yeah.
Just in one move, right? And I'm now behind him with them. Now the problem is you have to take a turn to readdress the ranks if you want to get out of that marching column.
Can you shoot if you redress the ranks?
I think you can.
You can. Okay. All right. I couldn't remember. I've never really played.
I think
with
it's
that,
more
so.
just marching that keeps you from shooting. So then he turned his Griffin around to go get them. And so then I just marched right past it again. So
Well,
right
I
now
mean,
we're playing a game.
yeah, and to be fair, you're taking out his Griffin's kind of a killy guy. You're taking that
Right.
out of the game for making him chase you, which is pretty worthwhile. Like how many Reavers did you have?
I had 5. 5 with
80 points probably take like just keeping 200 and something busy. That's pretty good.
105 with Ring of Fury, but yeah. Mhm.
Oh, okay, all right.
So yeah, it made him dance around with his Griffin. His Griffin basically got pulled out of the game. So I was not mad about that. And it also allowed my chariots to start to come forward without any risk of being charged back. Right.
Nice, yeah.
To get into his wizard and all that. So the one thing I was disappointed in this game was the lion chariots.
Oh, I know.
Not
They hurt so
because
much for me. I'm always disappointed in them.
and there's one glaring reason why. And do you know what it is?
Fear is useless.
It's not the profile.
Fear is useless.
That's a thing. But they don't have Swift Stride. How do they not have Swift? Everything's got
everything with 4 legs has Swift Stride. No, I know.
And they don't have Swift Stride, so like they just fail charges like crazy if you don't bring them up into a position where they could also get charged. And a chariot that is charged is a chariot that is useless. So
Yes.
just like so I was being very careful with them, perhaps too careful with them, because I was worried that he might get his dragon into him or something like that. But anyway, not to drone on about this game, what eventually happened in turn 2, the best thing about this game was his dragon and my dragon both set up fairly defensively. He had a regen save, and he had an opal amulet. I had an opal amulet, a cavalry spear, the dragon armor for another 5+ armor of Caldor. That's what it is.
Yep.
And then I had the Seed of Rebirth, right? So I had a 2-up, 5-up, 5-up.
Pretty solid.
Obviously, you got to choose your ward when to use it, right?
Right.
That was just to avoid monster slayer stuff like that. But we battled his dragon versus my dragon for 5 full rounds. So that was 10 swings each of us. And because of initiatives and things like that, now the way we played it, if you give ground, you don't gain. It's not considered a charge, right?
No,
it's just a follow.
I think it's just fall back in good order is what will count towards the charge.
Right.
Yeah.
So we didn't play it as that changed initiative or anything like that.
Well, yeah, because it's the same combat. You don't get a +1. There's no charging.
You're just sliding in, right? So our dragons obviously are the same. So they're hitting at the same initiative. Both our guys are first strike, so they're hitting at the same initiative. The only additional bonus is I had a Ring of Fury on my guy. So every once in a while I would get that off.
Yeah.
And maybe do a wound with it, because I'd have to roll 6s on the wounds. But 10 battle turns. And what happened was at the end of the game, both dragons killed each other at the same time. It was amazing. There was nothing else in combat with them. I guess he had some silver helms in there for like 1 swing.
Yeah, they're not going to do much if they didn't charge well. If you survive it, it's like they're useless.
Yeah, but that was I never had a game like that before. I never had to try and deal with a Star Dragon before. Luckily, I had a Star Dragon to deal with that Star Dragon, but it still took me 10 turns of combat to deal with it, right? And him as well.
Yeah.
So
I do remember briefly during this game, Mark being excited that high elves were killing high elves because they're the bane of his existence. And it's just like, yeah, it's rare because we don't like doing this to each other. Because it's just like, this is what I'm doing to people. Oh, I'm a terrible person. I don't want to know that.
And it was during that game though when I fought one for the first time, and I'm like, okay, if I'm in a tournament, I need to figure out a way to kill this a lot faster.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That is
And
not
maybe not with your dragon if possible, but I don't know. It's
figure out how to do it. Like, the lion chariots, they hit, like, I was even afraid to bring in lion chariots to attack him because of the first strike of his lord, right?
oh yeah, you're
And if they get in combat with my dragon and he just decides to attack the lion chariot,
he's won that
what
combat.
happens then? Yeah, he's going to win combat. I might take a wound off him with the strength 6 from what, 2 attacks, and even that's like, it's asking a lot, right? Because you have to go roll 2 4-ups, and then you got to roll.
Well, his weapon skill 7.
Another 2 4-ups.
Yeah, the weapon
right?
skill 6 versus 7. Yeah, it's not a good look.
It's not a good look. It's not awesome, right? So it's just like, this is my big high strength unit to go in there and actually like smack something that's big, but then you don't want to do it because you're just going to get killed in return.
Right.
So it's like the resilience of those dragons really is the problem. So you got to figure out a way to either hold it up
or avoid it,
or
bait it
or
out.
just heroic killing blow it or monster killing blow it off the board. And I know if he's got that 2 up, then that might not happen. But you keep swinging with that sword long enough, it'll drop. But yeah, so it's an interesting fight. It made me think about, like, what am I going to do for the future in different lists? I've got to answer these dragons somehow, right? So
yeah, and it's fascinating too, because like listening to some of like the world's players, they're going through their team stuff because that's coming up soonish. I don't know. The teams players seem to be moving away from the dragon lists, and obviously team metas are very different, but because they just rather just avoid everything and get enough points at the last couple turns. So they're doing that without dragons, which is kind of fascinating. Now in the 1v1 competitive, I think you're still going to see dragons for a little bit. Like I said, our group finally jumped on board with the dragon meta, and but also it's good because I think we are figuring out how to deal with them. Like I don't get upset when I see a dragon or 2. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
here's my tools. Let me see if I can handle it.
Yeah, and for Alex and for Orcs and Goblins players, right? You've got that. You got the banner that gives you poison, and I think that's the way you deal with it. Is you just get a giant block of guys who can shoot with bows,
Yeah, and just
remember every single one of them can see the dragon because it's a large target, right? So they all get to fire. They all fire into the dragon, and you just fish for 6s, and then you say, okay, you'll take your wards and all that, and that's fine. But we're gonna drop you eventually, right?
Yeah.
So, but then it's this protecting that unit. How do you get it in? How do you get it out of there in terms of range and all that kind of stuff? So, strategy, right? But that's one way to do it as well for Alex. And I was telling him, if you had that big block that was bows with a poison banner, now you're talking. Now you got something to look at least. But
yeah, and it's a thing too where it's nice that there's a problem for everybody to solve, and they have to solve it differently.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, but if you can bypass toughness 6.
Yeah.
Bypass it.
Sure. It's like it's not even like Pegasus Lord. Sure, that could be that's a rough fight too. Wyvern's not an easy fight if you have one of those in the orc and goblin army. So
yeah,
there's just problems out there, and it's like I'm enjoying the problem of solving it, and I feel the people who are wanting to like get rid of it and all that. It's just like no, you need to play more games. Not saying like I it's a gut reaction, and I'm not saying it's overdoing it, but I'm just like the more I've played, the more I go, okay, I don't see these as too much of a problem. There's some problems like I don't ward and regen. Okay, maybe it should be one or the other. Things like that. But yeah. I don't get upset if I see a couple dragons. I'm like, okay, which one's the good one? Which is the weaker one? Because they're not both going to be fantastic. And if they are both fantastic, that means there's nothing else in your army, and I'll just kill everything else in your army.
Yeah.
And win all the points that way.
What I've taken from this weekend and from the weekend when I played in that little round robin, I guess you can call it, with the 4 players and everything. Now that I'm playing more games of Old World. All 3 games that I played this prior weekend were all just line them up and kill, right?
Yeah, to be fair, that's kind of what we just play around here because out of laziness.
Yeah. And it's
It's
the
fun though.
easiest
It's
thing
still
to
fun.
do. You set up the. I mean, the games take so long to set up and everything anyway. It's kind of like, okay, well, let's, you know. And actually, that was a perfect weekend to not do that. But it's again, it's the easiest thing to do. So,
Yeah.
yeah. um, but I think, and this has to be handled delicately and with a lot of thought. But I think scenario play or some type of objective play is needed to shake up how we play the game. Because, and the reason why I say this, and again, it has to be handled correctly for um, taking into account all different types of armies and things like that. But if you have objectives and holding those objectives becomes, you know, more important than just killing an army, then the avoidance lists maybe
Avoidance
stop.
lists, they're already rough.
Yeah,
Like I said,
and it's but if you force an avoidance list to like not be able to avoid things, right?
yeah.
Like it kind of disappears, right? Like if you make them go get things,
But
right?
also, like an avoidance list is a good counter to some of the other lists out there. Like it's I'm gonna devil's advocate a little bit on that because
Mm-hmm.
I like scenario play more than in this case than I say I like objective play. And by
Yeah.
objective play, I'm meaning more like Sigmar style, 40k style. I don't want to chase circles on the board. But
Right.
if I need to
I've,
control
I've
the
never been
tower,
about chasing circles. Yeah, that's not what I'm talking
yeah,
about.
controlling a tower in the center of the board and I get an extra 250 victory points, that could swing me the game. Well, then
Right.
yeah, I will spend the turns trying to go hold that.
Yeah, but my thing with it is, in the current scenarios that you have in the book, the benefit of holding that tower is so small
Yes.
compared to killing a 500-point dragon that why am I that worried about it?
Yeah,
Like if
it's
I've got to throw my entire army into trying to take you out of that tower, is it even worth it? Or should I just shoot everything else and kill everything else? I'm going to kill everything else,
yeah, that
and then I'm going to win.
right. And thankfully in this game, killing everything else isn't as straightforward as Sigmar, where it's just a glob in the middle. But
Right.
I think even just taking some of those scenarios and just adjusting those victory points
Yeah.
could help make it more interesting. Because like my favorite from 8th edition was Watchtower.
Yeah.
I would play that all the time. I loved it. I would play it with every army.
Yeah.
And it was my favorite scenario to play. And like this new one, it's there. It's actually a little bit better, but still no one really wants to play it. But
Yeah.
because of what's the point?
Right. So I've been kind of throwing around this thing, and I'm working on it. It's definitely a work in progress, but like, basically, it's kind of like grand strategies in Sigmar, right?
Okay.
So you have a list of objectives. You get to choose the one at the start of the game, right? That you want to go after. You look at the board, right? And you say, well, this is what I'm going to do based on what I see, how the terrain's deployed, and all that. I'm going to try and do this, right? And so then your opponent does the same thing on the other side. And so now you have a goal to work for, and that's worth the most points,
Right.
right? Not the killing of the units. There'll be like kill objectives too, right? So, but the kill objectives will be for things that stand out, right? Toughness 6 ridden monsters. If you want to make that a goal, kill that dragon. That's a goal, right? Killing a general, killing level 3 or 4 wizards,
Yep.
things like that. Things like you want to get off there that'd be important. If you think about it in more like a narrative terms or something like that, those are the big ticket items that if you were fighting a battle, that's what you want to drop, right?
Yeah.
So it's not continuing to terrorize
Yeah.
the countryside, right?
Even like a
So,
magical dominance type thing where in one battle round you cast more spells than your opponent does. Granted, that could be skewed if you have a lot more mages, but just like
yeah,
that's just a thought. I don't know if that's a good one, but
yeah. Because my thought is here is just like, okay, I'm never going to take, like, let's just say, for example, a high elf hero on a great eagle because it's toughness 4 and it's 4 wounds.
yeah,
And you're going to shoot it and you're going to kill it and you're going to get 200 some victory points.
Yep.
Right. So in this system, you don't get anything for that because that's easily killed. Right. So what you get credit for is the things that are hard to kill.
But
and
you
things
still
that
get
are
you get the kill points. That's about it, right? Kill points still tie
well,
into
and
these.
the system I'm working on, you don't. I haven't decided whether I want to even put kill points in it yet or not. And if it is, it's a tiebreaker. So because
my gut
then
reaction is saying if you take them out, you're changing the core concept of the game.
if I take that's fine.
That's my gut reaction. I would never dream to take them out, but you're working through it. I'm not.
Right. It'll be definitely a different way to play the game for sure. But it's not changing units points. It's not changing units. Um, it's not saying you can't take a ward, you can't take a regen. When I was looking at that kind of stuff, the more and more I looked at it, the more and more I just got rid of all the things I was thinking about, because I'm like, you know what, the game works, but there's just some things, I don't know, that you could probably change more with the scenarios than you can change than you have to change with the actual rules.
Yeah, it's been fun like looking through like comp and stuff and like kind of like reaching that conclusion. It's just like we can do this in a different way as opposed to just hitting the same hammer and nail over and over again of let's just say you can only take this. Let's say you only take this. Like, let's
Yeah.
not tell anybody they can do anything. Let's just say here's how this scenario is going to play.
Mhm.
And that is enough for you to go, do I want to bring a toughness 6 or can I get away with a toughness 5 that might be killed easier, but I'm not giving up as many points if I lose my toughness 6, but also my toughness 6 is strong and powerful. So
Yeah.
that type of thought process is much more exciting and engaging than someone going like, you can only, we're 1999 plus 1. And I'm like, I look at my list and I'm just like, I don't want to show up.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think, like, obviously, right, if you go back to like an 8th edition or 7th edition or 6th edition or any edition of Warhammer Fantasy, eventually the meta lists come out, right? Unless
Right.
you change the army books, you change the points, you change whatever,
Right.
the potentials in the list, right? And then it becomes kind of stale because it's so tempting. It's so tempting to run your best list.
Oh, yeah.
It's so tempting, and they're like, you're like, well, if I run this, I've got a great shot at winning, right?
Yeah, like I look at my double dragon list, I'm like,
enough,
I got 3 and 2 in that without even much of a hassle.
right?
Yeah.
And so if you have enough different scenarios that force you to play differently, this is the one thing that I've always loved about Sigmar is this, like, you had to think about all the scenarios you were playing in an event
Right.
in your list building.
And
right?
battle tactics eventually, which early on were okay, then got worse and worse. But anyway,
Right.
different topic. Yeah.
And I think the battle tactics just kind of screwed things, honestly. But as far as like grand strategies, as far as the actual, like if I'm going back to like 2nd edition Sigmar, right? Just the
Yeah, there we
actual
go.
scenarios that you're playing, even
Yep.
with some of the randomness in some of them, makes you play differently, makes you build your list differently.
Yeah, and I think especially the randomness, it definitely when someone put it in there, the TO was very much calling out, being like, I want this randomness here. I'm doing this for a specific reason to make you think about it. And I really didn't hear, there's always some complaints, but I never really heard a ton of complaining when that was in a pack. People were like, okay, well,
Yeah.
we'll just hire. I got to make sure I got stuff to figure this out.
Yeah, my one gripe with kill points right now is this: there are things that you have to work so hard to pull points out of that the points that they are worth is not what it takes to actually bring it down.
Right.
Right. So like a toughness 6 dragon, if I have to spend 10 turns actually trying to kill this thing,
it's not worth it. You've wasted. Yeah.
Then I got 500 points for that after I just
yeah.
like it just doesn't, or I can shoot this one thing and get half the points, right? And it was easy.
Yeah, it's
it's skewed. It's not skewed correctly. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll say it again. My hardest matchup is most often Warriors of Chaos, because if those characters get a certain specific set of rules, Eye of the God rules, pretty quickly, they become unkillable for me.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay,
yeah.
your strikes.
Let's imagine you do kill it, right? And you're like, wait, I only got that much for that?
I mean, well, they're pretty expensive, but yeah, it's like, okay,
Sure.
all of a sudden the guy in the chariot's toughness 6 or 7, and he has strikes first and weapon skill 8 and +2 attacks. I'm like,
the question is, was the juice worth the squeeze?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and a lot of the times I feel like the answer is no, it is not. And once you start getting up to like, the bigger, harder things to kill. So,
right. But it's interesting. It's like, like we're definitely getting through the comp. I Nova just released their pack. Rest in peace to the Nova website that had some issues, and
yeah,
that looked rough. Mark's saved from trying to buy a ticket for Nova so far this year. because like it was, they were having problems. Like they figured it out eventually, but like they had to pause the sale, and it's like, also it's 2025. Like maybe get something better.
Yeah.
because that's never fun. I don't I having not gone to a major event for a number of years now, I don't miss that scramble. But
Mm.
anyway, with that said, yeah, Nova, they released their pack for the event, the Square Hammer, and like so, like it. I'm not gonna berate it too much. I think last year was a little bit more harsher, but it's still a heavy comp. Like it feels a little bit more of like this is how we should play, and I'm gonna tell you how we should play, and it's like it's your event, do what you want. I would never play in that event.
Right. So you
Um,
vote with me. Yep.
but I'm glad that they're trying stuff. I'm glad that there's talk of how to adjust things. But like just like you can go not far enough, or you can go too far. But there's gonna be something, and like either Games Workshop's gonna do it, or we're gonna do it.
Mm.
That's kind of where we're at, and we're trying these different things. I'm more in line like with you, where we kind of got to, Neil. It's like scenario play to make list building dynamic and interesting, as opposed to
I'm just
heavy comp.
I'm ready to explore something that's not pitched battle, right? You know.
Oh yeah. I know. I am
100%
too,
ready.
especially after. But you have one more pitch bell game to talk about. I'm gonna go refresh my coffee, but I'm gonna put up this lovely picture of you with the belt again. Will you talk through your game with Mark?
Yeah. So I'll make this maybe not the longest discussion here, but so I printed out some dragon wings for Mark, and I was just going to give them to him, honestly, and but then as I got there, it's just like, you know what, let's put something on the line here. I haven't played a lot of games against Mark, so I'm like, you know what, you can have these wings, and they're all yours, but you've got to earn them, right? So we're gonna play a game. I'm gonna put a dragon in that list. You've either got to beat my list, or you've got to kill the dragon, and which is usually one and the same. But and then you can have these wings. And he's just like, oh yeah, well I was going to use these wings for something for my kid. Now I'm feeling bad, but I'm like, hey, you still got to beat me. So anyway, so he was playing Bretonians, and he was running like, oh, 3 lances of knights. This is probably the second. Oh no, maybe not. Okay, maybe the fourth time I played Bretonians, but I still don't remember their stuff that well, so I can't remember what type of knights they were or whatever. All I know is there's a level 4 wizard in one. Um, didn't have a. He had maybe one Pegasus knight, not a lot else on the Pegasus front. Maybe he didn't even have the Pegasus knight, but anyway, just lots and lots and lots of lances of horses, right? And he came in, and it was looking very, very bad for him early on. And the dragon eventually failed a leadership check on a break test and had to run. And of course, this is the game where the dragon fled off the field, and that was that. And he got the wings based off of that to kind of make a long story short. So yeah, when that break test fails on the on the dragon, it is devastating. And currently with my high elf list right now, it's kind of hard, and maybe it's a good thing too for them. They are so many points that it feels like as soon as you lose that, I'm trying to figure out a way to make it feel like I've still got a shot in the game. Like, because sometimes if that dragon drops, or if it drops early, like, second, third round, something like that, maybe even fourth round, you're kind of left floundering with some strength 3 bow shots from Sisters of Avalorn, and some strength 3 bow shots from Lothar Seaguard, and it just gets to a point where you don't feel like you can do very much. So, but yeah, so that's how that game ended. Mark got his wings, and another loss to Bretonians again. The bane of my existence. Oh, I will say too, the Green Knight did come out. I killed that Green Knight once.
Yep.
He promptly returned and ruined my life again. I hate that model. I hate its rules. It's stupid. Go away.
Yeah. Every time I've
The
seen it
fact
come
that
out,
it
I'm
can be
like,
worth 200 points, you kill it, and then it just comes right back. Just like,
every time
He's
I've
like, oh, it gets one worse harder to bring it back. I'm like, okay, all right, sure, all right, that's what a detriment for you. I'm sorry.
every time I've played Mark, he always doesn't get it out right away. And then it comes out, and I'm like, cool, Sisters of Avalorn, and they kill it, and it never comes back out.
how does it not just charge in? How do you actually even shoot it?
Oh, I got real good at deploying against it very quickly.
Whew.
Like,
I
okay,
guess
you want to
wood
deploy in these
stuff,
woods? That's great. Well, there's 20 some Sisters of Avalorn surrounding it now. You can't come out of this woods. You gotta come out of that woods. And I don't care if you kill that thing over there. And also, if you fail that charge, I shoot you off.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, that the Green Knight's a bit rough. That was like our first meta thing here locally was how do you handle the Green Knight? And once we figured it out, we've kind of figured it out. It was like, okay, but yeah, it's still you could screw it up very easily.
Mhm.
I know Mark was thrilled because he rarely beats high elves, whether it's me or Luke locally.
Mhm.
He rarely gets through them, so I think he was thrilled at that one.
Yeah.
And then also those wings you printed out for his son's high elf army, which is funny because he's like he doesn't like high elves, but his son has a beautiful high elf army now.
Yeah.
But yeah, but no, it was a good weekend. There was two winners for chill weekend. There was we got to put those pictures up real quick. We'll put up the most glorious picture of you first here, even though it's another picture of you of the belt, but the flex is on.
Mhm.
Flex is on. It's good. It's good. And then so after I left, so Saturday night, I think it was around 1 o'clock. I'm tired. I'm going home, going to bed because I live 10 minutes away. You left, and thankfully you left because like I was like I'm not. I want a chill weekend, and some of the guys were just like wanting to party, have a little bit more party atmosphere. I'm like, it's not for me tonight. So
Yeah.
I went home, and there's some games happening. Everyone had a good time. It was all good.
Mhm.
But then I showed up early Sunday to get stuff ready, just have some coffee, quiet, all that sort of stuff. And I stopped in town to buy coffee. And the place I stopped was the local butcher, and they sell coffee, but you have to spend at least $10 on the cards. So that makes their, offset their cost. So I had to buy 2 coffees. So on one coffee, the second coffee was whoever shows up first wins this, and it's the bestest person award for the event. And surprisingly, Matt was the first one awake. So here's him with his trophy that he promptly threw in the trash after finishing drinking it. Very early, but it was good. It's all in good fun. Can't complain too much about that, but yeah, solid event weekend.
There was one trophy that did not go claimed, actually.
Well, it's true because no one challenged me. We forgot to tell people about it, and then it went home with you.
I think Tom challenged you, but I think he was in a state of inebriation where you were not willing to play him. And
Oh, absolutely not. I'm like, no, I'm not dealing with you. You can barely stand, and he was, yeah.
So funny. So yeah, and on top of that, I was planning on giving them to you anyway.
I know, yeah.
Unless you did play that game, then I just completely forgot because they were buried in my box.
It wasn't until I was cleaning up, and I was just like, spoil it, people, but Neil had an extra box of Chaos Warriors, and I just got a lovely gift
Chaos
of Chaos Knight. Sorry, I got a lovely lovely gift of a painted Archeon from Mark from Fours from last year. So I was like, I could start that army, sure, why not? And you offered it up like a slight challenge potentially. And then, yeah, we forgot about it. I was cleaning everything up after everyone had gone. I was like, I don't know where those went. I messaged you, and you're like, oh, hey, they're in my car. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I will say it felt very nice to come and, even though I forgot to actually give that to you, to come with gifts and bestow gifts upon people.
Oh,
I gave Luke
you gave me one mighty gift.
My high elves that I was not using, and they were not at the right scale for my current army and everything, which is unfortunate because I really like the way those white lions are painted.
Yeah, they were really nice.
But they're just a little too small for my liking. Those went over to him. Had a bunch of sword masters and everything, and those were kind of I was debating to keep these. They're the right scale for my army, but I'm like, we'll do like everything else is kind of 3D printed, looking a little different. So I think we'll probably do that with the sword masters as well.
Yeah, I get you. If you're gonna 3D print, I think you do all 3D prints, so it's a line. And if you don't 3D, or you don't, you go.
I think keeping the dragon princes just a kind of how iconic the dragon princes are, and
Sure.
the scale of them, as well as just like, I don't know, they work. And I can't find a model that looks better than the GW ones. And a lot of the models I have don't look necessarily better, but
One that appeals to you more.
to me, like that would work with my army and everything. I'm like, these things can stay. And I enjoy painting them. They look really cool. So yeah, we're gonna keep Dragon Princess as the GW Dragon Princess. So.
That's fair. Well, it does match because your dragon is technically a GW sculpt.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So yeah. So anyway, but yeah, that was kind of fun. I know I got you your third bust that you've been looking for and we've been talking about, and dropped some high elves off. We got some dragon wings. So
well, Luke's about to become a menace, by the way, because not only did you gift him White Lions and Swordmasters, the week prior I had extra Swordmasters because I just wanted the new command set, so I have a couple of those I'm going to paint up. Gave him extra Swordmasters, and then I gave him 5 White Lions because I only wanted 15 of the Tracy and Hunters that I kit bashed.
Yeah.
So he's and I think he just got a second dragon for his birthday recently. So Luke's about to become a menace out there. So time's a ticking.
I'm Luke's Alex right now. I don't think I've lost Luke, even going back to playing him in 40K a long time ago with my Tau army. So.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah. But yeah, no, great weekend. It was it was exciting to have you out. Like I said, I'm glad. I hope you got your fix in.
Oh, yeah.
At least until next Arathi, if not before. We'll figure out how that works out. But cool. Yeah, I guess. Did you have any other hobby before I ramble about my stuff? Because I was actually hobbying during the weekend and such. But do you have any other hobby other than working on the comp stuff?
Since my 3D printer's been on the fritz, I've been came to a little bit of a screeching halt there, and then with the weekend and everything, I was kind of debating on whether I was going to try and like rush the Lather and Seaguard to get them painted up for games and whatnot. And,
it wasn't a big deal. I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah, so I decided against that, just to take my time with them and everything. But they're probably the next project up. I also I played my first game with a Stormweaver on a unicorn. So that was cool. She looked pretty good running around out there. Hasn't been painted yet. But,
how did that fare?
Ton, but...
How did that fare? Because I look at that, having just kit bashed one, which I'll talk about. I don't see it being alive long. Like you can't hide.
You have to bury it in something.
Yeah, you can't be on its own. It's like,
So I put it in a unit of Reavers. Is that the best place for it? Maybe not. But if you had it in a group of Silver Helms, that might be a better spot for it. The Silver Helms are going to soak damage a lot better than what those Reavers are going to do. But the way I set up my Stormweaver was a bunch of magic missiles. So
okay,
not Ring of Fury,
Ruby
Ring of Ruin, and then whatever magic missile was in whatever type of magic I took. That was I think it was
Doombolt from Dark Magic.
Yeah. So, but then Alex had I think 3 or 4 level 4s.
Yeah, he was pretty. Yeah, he's gonna shut you down.
So it was like I was thinking like, oh, I'm gonna run her up the flanks and like try to get off some of these things, and yeah, it was tough sledding against 4 level 4 wizards. So I got a couple things off. She didn't do a ton. Yeah, probably wasn't the most necessary thing to have on the list. But,
you ran her. I look forward to trying mine out at some point here. Yeah,
I would bury her in some Silver Helms. Even if you did just like 5 Silver Helms in her, I think that's better than putting her in the Reavers. So
that's fair. Yeah. Oh, put her with the Dragon Prince. 2 up armor.
So, well, the thing about the Dragon Princes is if they get impetuous and they do something you don't want them to do,
that's true.
You got your mage charging in.
Oh, you have to see if Dark Magic. If there's, I think it's more hexing, so it's not a good idea. You're right. Never mind.
Give her an assailment and let her go nuts, right? I mean, she's gonna have some high initiative.
Yeah, that's true. Perfect. Well, and we'll talk a little bit more comp here at our. It's gonna be odd. Sorry, everybody. Our main topic is the Renegade pack. So we're sort of talking comp. We'll talk high level Renegade pack, but it's been kind of mixed in throughout this episode too. So I think it's kind of blending nicely. So I'm here for it. But gotta get through some hobby, and an hour and 3 minutes into the chat with Neil.
Yeah. Well, it was a big weekend.
It was a big weekend, yes. So first up, Evil Bob from our group. I commissioned him to paint my Votan because I wanted the 1,000 point of Votan after last year's Grand Narrative where I was a Votan. And he asked if I would be willing to build some models to help offset the cost of the painting. I was like, absolutely. I like building models. So I built this entire Seraphon 4 Series C, which was about 34 models. Uh, Took me a couple days. I was high off plastic glue, but we did it. All cleaned up. Some sub-assemblies, not on bases. I think it's going to become a 9th Age army, is what he said. So he said leave it off bases, that he'll do the bases separately. So yeah, that was a fun little side project. But during the course of the weekend, boom, here's this lovely, from Bust's workshop, is who handled the STL. Neil printed me up this not Yvrain bust for me to paint.
Absolutely not.
Yep, not Yvrain at all. It's sitting next to my not Marathi and not Seagard from Bust Workshop, who's I love his stuff, because it's like, I'm like, listen, just give me an Alarial some point. You get me an Alarial, oh, I'm gonna be in heaven. They can be Sigmar or it can be fantasy. Either one, both are
You get
great.
a Larial will just be your thigh.
That's fine. I'll do that. But yeah, so and this was what the feathers on the headpiece and the head itself was separately. So got those together, put it on a cork. Happy to have that, because now I have my 3 busts for the last 3 quarters of the year for my goal of painting a bust every quarter. I think I'm gonna do the Seagard one next, because it seems simple enough, and I'm in a high elf mode. Did some building during the weekend. So here's actually, I did this Wednesday, I should say. I kit bashed up, or did I do this during the event? I can't remember. No, I did this Wednesday. I kit bashed up my Stormweaver on Unicorn using an extra Tyrannok Chariot horse. Grabbed one of the extra tail bits from Dragon Kit to give it a little horn. The picture is pretty fresh after. I cleaned up the horn a little bit, so it's a little bit more fluid and looks more natural, because this was kind of fresh after assembly. Also used extra bits from the Dragon Rider, so he's got like the dragon billowy like cloak things out on the side.
Mm-hmm.
He will rank up because they're low enough. He'll rank up with other horses, no problem.
Nice.
But I wanted him to be very grand and flamboyant if he's on his own. The dragon stuff accomplished that very nicely. Gave him a little old throwback, the old little Book of Hoeth on there. But here's a big collection of everything I painted during the or not painted, built and had primed essentially during the weekend / past week, plus some other stuff. So I finished up all my Tracian Hunters. So there's 15 there. Most are with hoods. Some are with I found old basic spearman helmets I had extra of, because I didn't want the plume on it. I wanted them to be more generic. So nice little simple kit bash there, just adding on extra bows I had. So there's some high elf bows mixed in. There's some Daughters of Cain bows mixed in from the blue side. There's also some Ideneth bows, because it's just like I just grabbed a bow and I grabbed a quiver that I could find in my bits box, and it looks good. Like I said, 10 sword masters with the new command, because I wanted that, because I loved it. There's the Stormweaver in there. I should have got a better picture of this, but I did I did kit bash up a new Teyrathi model, which is on my Instagram, as the Illyrian princess that she is. So she's got her scythe, she's got like a banner. She looks good. I'm very, very happy with the way she turned out, because now I can run her from the army that she's from, which is Illyrian, so she's on an Illyrian steed. And because me and Neil have some, we promise, next week, Neil, we have to commit. We have to talk about our armies of infamy that we've made. We've been teasing it for so long, so next week for sure.
Yeah, the next time we play as well, I hopefully want to have my army in a state where I can actually play the thing I created. So
Yes, I have enough built now to do it. So yeah, I understand. But right here to the right of Teyrathi is, I'll see if I can zoom in a little bit on her. An Illyrian princess. Which is, yeah, and I think it's funny because like there's Illyrian princes and princesses, and it's so easy to find a dude on a horse. And I actually have I have that old kit coming with a pre-order, so I was like, I'll kit bash up an Illyrian princess, and she has like the spear out from the hip, like almost like the horse is rearing up, like the old um like imposing chaos warrior knight type pose.
Yeah,
She nailed it. I'm like, oh, I think I like this model a lot. Holy crap.
yeah.
um yeah, it came together very nicely. And then also, since they're heavy infantry, spoilers for my Army of Infamy, Illyrian Knights. So obviously those two, Terathi and the Princess, were using the new Illyrian horse models, horse kit, because that's a great kit. I love it. It's very much more versatile than the old push to fits. So I did some kit bashing, some helmet swaps mostly, and made a unit of 8 Illyrian Knights, which are a heavy infantry for my Illyrian Army of Infamy, so they have something that can do something.
Heavy cavalry.
Heavy cavalry. I'm sorry, I said heavy infantry.
Yeah.
It's more coffee. Me more coffee.
I'm here to help. I'm here to help.
Yeah, thank you. And then 2 more dragons.
Of course.
Because I only had 3. And I've explained this because like I was getting made fun of a little bit by Brad. He's like, "Oh, look at the power gamer." I'm like, "Hold on." Even Cole was doing it. I'm like, "Let me explain why I have these." So back when I was a young kid and just starting this out, younger, didn't have a ton of disposable income. So I had one of these dragons, and I love this dragon kit. I know you have your reservations, but I love this dragon kit because it was my first. So
Yeah.
nostalgia.
I don't dislike it as much as I lead on.
Oh,
it's just it's one thing about the model. That's it.
That's fair, and that's fair. It's perfectly understandable. But if you look at my original one, like I didn't really repaint it or anything. Like I'm fine with the paint job, 'cause it's back from the classicness of when I was doing that old theme. But it's very clearly a dragon prince with a sword, and the other hand is very clearly a staff because I wasn't able to afford 2. And I had used the other bits for other things. So he was my dragon mage or my prince based upon what I wanted. And it worked. No one ever complained about it. But now that I'm older and have a little bit more disposable income and a discount, I decided to get 2 of these. Because one, they're both on the new size bases if I want to run my double dragon list. And one's very clearly the prince with the lance, and one's very clearly a mage. So that's the main reason why I did it. And I'm gonna take my time, paint them up for fun. So that's why there's double dragons there now.
Nice. I love it.
Yep.
So it's I had one. What I did with mine was I never glued the guy onto the saddle.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
I built one mage and I built one guy to put on top, but it was kind of janky because I didn't understand magnets at that point. So I just sat them on there and hoped they didn't fall off as I was playing.
See, I should have done that, but I was so into kit bashing at that age too that I was using those extra bits to kit bash like I did in this one. Like my, so like I'm like I'd like no I forget where I used the legs, but all those bits were used. I was scrounging for bits, but I should have probably done that. But
nice.
But then I wouldn't have 2 new dragons to paint right now. So hey.
Mm-hmm.
And I did actually get a little bit of painting in too. So shout out to my friend Kevin, World's Strongest Warhammer, over on Instagram. He sent me for a late birthday gift the Hunters of Huncha, the Warcry Chameleon Skinks warband. Just so I could have something competitive in my Lizardman list. So 10 Chameleon Skinks with blow darts all painted up, as well as there was like these little baby ripperdactyls in there. So I painted them up and just put like a squink herder kind of at the bottom, so they're ripperdactyls now.
Nice.
So yeah, I got a little bit of painting in, and on my desk right now is technically the Swordmasters, which I'll put some color on here after we're done wrapping this up. So
yeah, I think so. I made a Seraphon army for my son. It's he doesn't have a lot of interest in playing or whatever. So, but I was just like, hey, bud, do you want me to sell this? So you have some money for something different or whatever.
Oh,
and by the way, that version of selling it would be I would pay him some money and it becomes mine, right?
Right. Yeah. It's done and it's ready. You might as well keep it. Yeah.
But anyway, so he's not playing. I think I will be rebasing that to squares, and we will have a Seraphon army in the works for him as well. So, or not a Seraphon, but a Lizardman.
So I I will say this. It took me a long time to finally do Lizardmen in any capacity, because I almost did Seraphon simply because I didn't have. That's the only Order army I'm missing from ageofsigmar. Thankfully, they decided to stop selling the Dread Saurian, which is what I wanted in my list because it was a cool big thing. And I was
Yeah.
willing to pony up for it. And as soon as they discontinued that, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not playing Seraphon.
Who knows if they bring them back? I bet you that thing's coming back.
Oh,
That is a cash cow, baby.
if
I
it
mean,
comes back for Lizardmen, I'm twice as excited because that's where I'd rather play.
yeah.
And now I have Lizardmen army, so it's a fun army.
I don't even remember Dan Moyes at Adepticon. He brought
Oh yeah.
his Dread Saurian in a cat carrier.
Yep. Yep.
That was just, I don't know why I found that as funny as I did, but I mean, it is a huge model. I remember seeing somebody with 2 of those at Adepticon one year for Age of Sigmar. Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I will absolutely buy one because like I said I think you're going to really enjoy playing Lizardmen because you're toughness 4 and we're elves. We're usually toughness 3.
yeah.
And you still have a high like a level 4 mage that can do high magic. It feels good. It's good army.
Yeah. I can imagine.
But with that, we are going to talk a little bit about something we should like. Whoop! I screwed up that a little bit here. Sorry, everybody. Let's get that out. Pop that out. Whoop! Nope. You know what? Screwing everything up. Because we'll just go over to it now. Boom! There we go. The Legacy Renegade pack. There we go. I accidentally like did a not a full screen, but I screwed up the scaling of our stuff. Anyway, if I come back to us, it's okay. It is okay. All right, perfect. Got it figured out. So yeah, the Renegade Legacy pack. So put together by Val Heffelfinger over there at the Square Based podcast. Great podcast. I saw there's some of the few Adepticon stuff I actually want to watch because I don't know what it. Side note, I don't know if you're there yet. I don't think you watch as much content as I do for anything. Like I enjoy background noise and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
I've seen so many thumbnails from people talking about Adepticon, and I don't know if it's because I'm older and jaded, or because I do content. Not that I do great content, but I do content and I understand why the algorithm works, and I see the background of what it's trying to make me do. Like have our surprise faces on the thumbnails and stuff. I see the thumbnails of so many Warhammer content creators anymore, and I'm just like, oh, I don't care. I know your video's not like that. I know you as a person are a good person. I know the video's gonna be excellent. I see the thumbnail and the title, and I'm just like, I'm out. I don't know why. I don't know why. But Squarebase is one of the ones that I still stay tuned to. They don't lean into that too much, thankfully. Sorry, mini rant there. Anyway.
Yeah, you're good.
Square-based Renegade Legacy Pack. So Val, I think he did like over a course of like a month or two. He was looking through all the old battle tomes for the Legacy armies, essentially, which we're calling them Renegade. That's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And this is his pack that he ran through. So I had the PDF open. I accidentally closed it. Let's just open it up here and bring it back up here in a second. But just generally high level. What do you think about something like this, Neil?
I think it's great because the way it was put together, it was clearly explained why they did the things that they're doing. It took in a lot of different opinions on things, and then they, took from those opinions what, and they considered everything and then put in what they put in. Is it perfect? Probably not. I've heard a lot of different podcasters kind of really break this down and take a look at this versus that.
Yeah.
Does it change, the competitiveness of some of these things? Does it put some people up in A or S tier or whatever
Right,
if we're doing that kind of breakdown? I don't know, maybe not. I just think that right now you don't see a lot of the legacy armies being played, and I think that's unfortunate. And I think if something like this can bring them back into the fold for a little while, then I'm 100% for it. So I don't, based on what I've looked through, I don't see a ton of things that are Crazy, maybe some of the stuff in Chaos Dwarf army lists, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
It'll bear out. So
It what I love about it too, and I was okay for this when I saw it, because my biggest thing was I don't want us all playing different versions of the same game.
mhm.
And the preface that Val put in here is great. It's a grandstand, but it needed to be there. Breaking down stats from all the surveys they did, and kind of like, what's the intention of this? He's like, there's not going to be really points too much in here. It's going to be about making these armies play the way they should alongside the other armies out there.
Right.
Not about making them better, not about adding new things. It's just like, what was missed, what's inconvenient, and we just rather do it this other way anyway. So
Right.
I loved it. And I will say this too. He had me very, very late stage. Because we're not hyper competitive people. We're more competitive in this game than we are in other games. But he's like, hey Chuck, can you take a look at this? Just give me some thoughts on it. And I was like, yeah, sure. So I was looking at Dark Elves and Lizardmen, since I just played some Lizardmen and I'm a big Dark Elf guy. And I was going through it, and I was giving him just a little bit of feedback. I was like, I appreciate this. This is fine. This feels good. I didn't really see anything out of bounds at the point when he was having me. I was more of like a late stage, like I said, type of reviewer. But I saw the original sheet he was working off of, and it was full of so many people he grabbed, like high level people for competitive play all across the world, to look at the pack. And there was notes and comments and back and forth and resolute, like it was full on, well done.
Yeah. And I think Squarebase has the following where they can do that.
Correct.
I don't know, maybe not easily, but they can do it easier than anybody else. So
exactly. Yeah. Definitely came in clutch. I like that there's some core rules changes, like let's make a Howdah actually a Howdah. Like it used, like I said, and that's just making it what it used to be, in 8th edition, which is kind of like how we should do it. And then more importantly, as a Dark Elf player dragged along, I don't want to have multiple units. I want to put this Cauldron of Blood in the center of my unit like I used to, because that's what makes sense. It doesn't hurt the game to have it that way. It doesn't even make cool. It looks cool. It just makes things easier too. Like, I mean, come on. Like, I get it. It's because base size has changed, but they didn't give us new bases for this one. But they're letting us be adults with kit bashing in the arcane journals. You can let us be adults with slightly mismatched bases. We can figure it out.
Yeah.
Half the games we play, like, Brad still has an army on circles that's 32 instead of 30, and like, yeah, we can figure it out. And sometimes some of the guys come and they have older size bases, and there's not enough extra converter trays. Yeah, we can figure out. You're 7 wide, I'm 7 wide. Let's just play and have a good time. Like, it's like, we can be adults about that. So
yeah.
I will say I don't understand the Chaos Dwarf stuff at all to talk about it. I asked Matt about it. Matt said it's like, it makes my army worse, and I think it's because Matt's not really playing a heavy with the orc and goblin type stuff mixed in potentially.
Yeah, he needs to play with the more of the things that are going to give him the toughness, 6/7 grid monsters there. So, and I'm pretty sure that they can do that. From the things that I've heard, I've not actually tried to put a Chaos Dwarf army together, but from what I understand, if you get 2 of those bull centaurs, or not centaurs, but the Taurus,
yeah,
running around the board, every bit as potent as a couple dragons, from what I understand. So
there you go. I mean, they're on dwarves. Like, dwarves are just tough. So.
Right.
And then after that was Demons of Chaos, which I'm kind of excited because Tom from the local club, I think he's doing a Nurgle Demons of Chaos list right now. And like I said, I'm just shocked. Like, I get why this one isn't included right now, because Chaos is waning. But I still want to see it out there. Like, you want to talk about shutting down a Green Knight? Well, here's an army that's just like putting out magical attacks.
Right. Yeah, I like the changes to Demons of Chaos. I like them just keeping their ward, right?
Keep the ward.
Hey, and without it, it's kind of not playable. I like the fact that you can get 2 greater demons in there.
Yep.
Right. I mean,
that's fine with me. They're not that powerful.
So
Not that weak, but they're not that powerful. Yeah, it's good. Plus, you know, it's so much more flavorful looking at this. That's all I
yeah,
gotta say with that. Which I think is
it's
like,
actually I'm actually tempted to
ooh, well,
to
there's a
put it
lot of good
together. Honestly,
there's a lot of good 3D
because
sculpts out
I mean
there.
it's yeah, demons are iconic, and I've never had a demon army on squares before, and
You
you know,
there's a I know it's out there. I don't know where it's at. But there's a Nakari um Greater Demon of Slanesh 3D print you can get. You could create a Nakari army to face against your high elves in some beautiful action shots.
don't tempt me, Frodo.
Ah, sorry. All right, moving on. Lizardmen. Like I said, it just tightens things up, makes it a little better. Like, oh yeah, I can put my Slan back where he belongs. It's not a big deal. I can ally with high elves, great. Yeah, I think the Lizardmen more so um, benefits more from just like some of the core changes that were adjusted here, like the Haldas and stuff, which is fine. And let's tighten things up. Like the Slan Mage Priest, base size can be 50 millimeter, 50 by 50 or 60 by 60, because mine's on 50 by 50. I'm using old style. 60 by 60 is what would make sense. It's got monsters infantry, it's got large target, it's got close order. That's fine. Wisdom of the Old Ones, you know, essentially, which is high elves and dark elves have this. I get to reroll a little bit when casting. Okay, now I can do it once per turn, just like that they can. I'm a high elf fan, but Lizardmen taught the high elves magic. They should be better at magic, just hands down. And the Palanquin, correcting that up, make it a little bit better, like 360 vision, all that sort of good stuff that it should have on its own. And then I think was there. No. Yeah. Okay. Stegodons. This was my favorite. I love Stegodons because I love Triceratops. It's my favorite dinosaur since I was a kid. And I didn't buy one yet because this pack wasn't out. Because the Engine of the Gods, the Arcane Configuration rule, which is pretty useful, says only happens if you have 2 or more Engines of the Gods, which I was not doing. It's an elite army. Fitting 2 of those in is awful. So now it's like, hey, you get to do that special rule, but you don't have to worry about having 2 of these. Great. Thank you, Val. Now I can go buy one and enjoy my time with my little Triceratops.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a big fan. Like I said, this doesn't make my list any better, but it gives me more fun. Which, as
cool.
as a Lizardman person who's just playing it because it's a cool army, that's it. That's all I wanted. Like
Yeah.
I'm still not going to win many games, if any, but I can do the things that I think are cool now.
Yeah.
Ogre Kingdoms. The only one who plays it locally is Tom. He plays a Death Star, which is the old style. So I think it's just correcting some of the shots, little things there. I honestly I don't know how much this is going to impact Tom and his list, but I haven't seen anyone complain about these changes.
Yeah.
And I say changes, updates, I should say. And then Skaven. I'm very curious. I should have messaged Alex a little bit more in this because he's building a Skaven army now, fresh. Because he had a Skaven army, now it's in Sigmar. Now he's doing another Skaven army back in Old World. I don't know how this helps things at all because I think their points are a little bit out of whack more than much else.
So the Skaven list, it used to be like you had to have like 1 unit of clan rats for every whatever X, and now you only have to have 1 unit of clan rats. And,
okay, that's
good.
A
lot of people are, because, and I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to be like, okay, so most of your army is just chaff and stupid, right? But the problem is if that's the way your army works, then there needs to be enough other things that you can put into a list and there's really not. So it's like, if you're restricted to playing that way, unfortunately what happens is a lot of the time Skaven gets steamrolled because you just have so many units of just trash that it's like they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing and have done in prior editions. So I think that was the big change there, was more to the core.
Gotcha.
And allowing you to lock other ways of building lists.
I do like. I think
just that.
I hope Games Workshop utilizes this in the future for other things. I love the 0-1 units of Stormvermin if you have a Skaven Warlord, or 0-1 Plague Monks if you have a Clan Pestilence Plague Priest. Plague Priests are easy to get. You have as many as you want. You can only have one Skaven warlord per 1,000 points, and you can't get both of those into core. I think like the high elf specifically might be able to benefit from that to help limit. Like what if I could choose, Phoenix Guard as core or sisters? You know what I mean? Like I don't want to unlock that, but you know what I mean? Like just like making it more of a choice would be a little bit more exciting, I feel, than just hey, take a handmaiden and figure it out and spam it.
I think we've always said you have to be very careful with that. I'm more worried about when you do the 0 to 1 units for something that's rare than something that's special.
True.
I think that's an easier ask. But it becomes very quickly that those things are the things you take, because why would you take spearmen and elves instead of the other thing that's much, much better, right? So for the points and everything, you just become way more efficient, right?
Yeah.
So
the only time I've looked at
you
spears
just got to be careful that you don't lose the flavor of the army, and then just basically
make it
scratch
Sigmar.
out an
You don't want to
entire
make it
unit
Sigmar.
so because the internal balance isn't there, so.
Right. The only time I've looked at spearmen and basic archers right now is with Ship's Company in the Seaguard list, and like that's because I think it's thematic more than I think it's actually useful. Granted, they also gain skirmish, so it's a little better. But anyway, so Skaven, I like this. Newsflash, everybody, I like this whole pack. And then vampires. I haven't played a vampire army yet. We do have one coming to the event at the end of May. Mark Turner out here. He comes to the barn on occasion. It was the beginning of trout season, otherwise he would have been with us at Chill Weekend. So hopefully some of this stuff is pretty good with it. I don't know anything about vampire counts in this edition.
Yeah.
So don't even know how to talk to these. Do you
problem with the vampire counts is when you have an entire army of ethereal.
Yeah.
I think that's one. And then the other thing is the screams. The screams are what scream stacking, stacking leadership debuffs, and then screaming on top of that, scream, and the army's gone, right? So I think that's what they're
focusing on
here a little bit. I could be wrong, but I know that's right now is what are they, a mortuary cult? Is that Tomb Kings?
That's Tomb Kings.
It's Tomb Kings.
Yeah.
I know that one's a pretty rough list for people right now. I know that's not this, but the fully ethereal list.
That's rough. Yeah, you're right. That'd be rough.
That'd be tough.
And then
especially if you're playing like orcs and goblins who only can get magical attacks from their characters.
Yes, 100%. And then my beloved Dark Elves, which finally fixed Murderous because Witch Elves were terrible. Because that +1 with Murderous didn't work with their other stuff, and it was like the rerolls. I'm like, that's so stupid. And to be fair, locally, because Quentin plays Dark Elves more, right? That's his primary army. I haven't brought my Dark Elves out yet for this edition, but we just played this way anyway. It's like, it's stupid to not. The Manticore change, I think that's probably more in line with what's going on in the Warriors of Chaos with the toughness there. I do like, this is the only this is I think one of the biggest changes in the pack, because there was no Dark Pegasus in the Legacy pack for Dark Elves, and it was so stupid because I get it. There was no model for it, but we all kit bashed the Bretonnian one anyway. So add Dark Pegasus for Dreadlord. I do wish it was
so
gave a little bit bonus, but
I don't get the fact why they didn't put Dark Pegasus in there, because what they're telling you is these are legacy armies. If you have this army at home already, then you can play this, but we don't recognize it, right? Everybody had the Unkillable Lord on a Dark Pegasus from 6th edition or whatever edition it was, right? Everybody had
Unkillable Dark Pegasus. Yep, and you also had the sorceress that would fly up and blow herself up. Yeah, that's
so
what you had.
And you're not selling them anyway, right? So I don't understand why you wouldn't have done that, but whatever.
Everyone's just gonna do what I do even now with this. Like, okay, I'm gonna buy the Dragon kit for the Dark Elves, and I get 2 riders. I'll buy an extra secondhand, or the new Pegasus, and just from Bretonnia, scrape off the bits, and boom, there we go. We're good to go.
100%.
Cauldron of Blood, good changes. Power level 3 makes more sense. War Hydra, Yeah, this rated Moz, I don't think it had AP, which doesn't make sense because everything else that's a monster had AP, so a little tightening up there. That is it. Um, and the reason to talk about the pack is like it's still changes can happen. I think Val said too, obviously, that if in a week's time or randomly Games Workshop comes out and corrects some of these things in different ways, cool. That part of the pack is immediately dead.
Right.
And he's like, I am fine with that. I'd rather they do it. But since they're not,
Right.
took it upon himself. And he said, and this pack doesn't screw up or make anything too powerful. It just makes you play them the way they should be played.
Yeah. And the thing is too is like, they talk about this on Square Based a lot. Like, it's not a big department over there in specialist games.
Sure. Yeah. I'm not ragging on them for not doing it, but it's just like
If some of this stuff gets put out into the ether, right? Who knows? Maybe they take notice of it, maybe they don't. All right. But if they do take notice of it, it may be something for them to read through and say, because it's not a ton of guys like, okay, here's the changes that these people want, right? And maybe that affects, maybe that, whatever I'm making rules or whatever, sometimes I'll see stuff that other people like, oh, you should do this instead. I'm like, nah, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that happens sometimes, right? And I respect that. I respect other people who might make that choice, but at least you're hearing it, right? At least you're seeing it. So it exists. It's something for them to maybe take a look at, or just say, hey, this is the stuff that we feel like you missed. And so maybe you can do this differently, or maybe you'll change this to however you want. But these are things that the community feels have been missed.
Right. And
I don't see that as a bad thing. And I know GW reacts positively when you bring up things, the community brings up things in a positive manner about what we'd like to see.
We're becoming the change that we want to see in the game. And like I said, it's back to, like I said, it's I don't ever want to play multiple versions of this game. I don't want there to be the old Swedish comp versus other comp, that sort of stuff. And to be fair, all the comp I've seen has been very light typically. Like there's a few heavy-handed ones, like I said, like the Nova Old World event, which is fine. But I would rather those be out there and people trying, even if I think it's too heavy-handed, or if I think it's not heavy-handed enough. I'd rather those be out there because at least we're trying and we're working towards figuring it out. Because, like I said, Games Workshop hasn't said there's any intention to correct this, and that's fine. So we will take it upon ourselves. Thankfully, there's a hero in the community like Val to put in the work for that. But yeah, it's good to see it out there, and I would. It's so odd because, like, I'm thinking back to, like, 2nd edition Sigmar, even early 3rd. I'm like, I hated comp, no comp, no comp, no comp. But now I look at Sigmar and I'm like, can we comp this to be a fun game? Or a more fun game, more engaging. But I don't know how you do that with the current.
I don't know either. I think Sigmar's on such rails. It's hard.
Yeah, but we'll see. New GHB might be good for that, as we talked about before in the podcast. But I'm happy to see these things out here because. Also, too, it's probably in part because I can have a great weekend with you and some other folks locally and some slightly far away, and we can just play the game we want anyway. But I'm looking forward to going to a tournament that our friend Drew is putting on for the Akron Brew Brawl. We have dominated that space. We are taking over. So definitely sign up for that if you want to join. I think it's going to be, there's been comp talk back and forth there.
He's like, hey, make sure you join a team if you don't want to play the same people you already know.
I don't care.
No, bro, I'm looking forward to playing the people I know.
Yeah, my first game's against Neil. It's gonna be fun.
People too, but yeah, you're not, that's no sweat off my back there.
Yeah, doesn't bother me, but maybe if we do anything, we do Team High Elves just so we don't get a High Elf round 1 matchup.
Yeah,
we're gonna meet round 2. Some of us.
And that is why we're figuring out how to deal with dragons.
Exactly.
There's too many high elves in this tournament to not have a solution for that. So.
Hey, listen, I got enough. I could supply everybody if we wanted to. Yeah, I'm excited to see where things go. I think the game is still in a good place where it is now. A few things are outlying a little bit, but I don't think it's in a place where it's Old World's not in a place where I think things need to be adjusted for me to have a reasonably enjoyable experience. If you just said, "Here's
Right.
Old World, bring whatever's in the pack or whatever's in the book," I'm like, "Okay, cool." Um, so yeah, but like trying things out, little adjustments here and there just to see if it does it, that's good. As long as they're kind of like thought out, not as a gut instinct, I think is the
Right.
best option.
Yeah. And I think, like, it's just how we had that discussion about objectives and everything. I think pushback's good, right?
Yeah.
I think we need to listen to pushback, right? And you need to have something like, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's one of the big things, like killing your darlings and having people like listen to different opinions and stuff like that, I think is important. Whenever you're talking comp or you're talking changes to a game system, like you said, like you have to be real careful with that, I think, because very quickly you're playing a game that people are not expecting. And, they have their book, they've read their book, they have some loose interpretation of what those rules are, because there are a lot of them. And if you go and, throw, another, 10 pages of different rules and changes, it's too much, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but at the same time, I think, we want to play different games, right? So,
Yep.
not play the same list, not have the same experience all the time. So I think that kind of stuff is good to have around as well. So
Exactly. And like I said, once again, scenario play I think is a good way to do it, because if I look at certain scenarios, well, it might just me go, huh, 2 dragons is a detriment to my list. Maybe any dragon's a detriment to my list, and I want to switch it up for this type of game versus this type of game or this scenario. So, yeah, I'm curious. I don't think. The thing is too, I think out there, like if you're a TO out there and you're looking at like, okay, might need some comp for some things. Well, one, put this Renegade pack in. Just say Renegade pack's allowed. It doesn't hurt anything. Full confidence there as someone who's a TO myself. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly reasonable, and you won't see these armies shooting to the top. They'll just be playable, and you'll get more people playing, which is what you want as a TO. And secondly, like, let things happen. Let see what the worst is that you're maybe the community will bring to the event, and I bet it'll be like it was at the last event you went to. Like there was some BS out there. You all look like you're having a great time, win or lose, and I think that's the key thing too. Like, which kind of reminds me of early like Sigmar, just having a good time within ourselves. Win or lose. I didn't know that was possible, or that's really cool, or that's super powerful. Because like every time I've lost a game in Old World since this game came out, even since 8th edition, I lose a game, I'm excited because I get to figure out how to correct that at future games. How can I make my list even better? How can I handle for the situation I didn't know about? There is type of character build. So it's cool stuff out there.
Yeah.
But Strength Hammer Podcast, unanimous yay or nay on the Renegade pack? Yay? Raise your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. All right. Nays?
Yeah.
All right. Yays carry. But next week we will talk about our custom armies of infamy.
Doing it.
That's what we're doing it. So look forward to some Yverse and some Illyrian chat next week. And then in the near future, I don't know when, I'm looking through it. I'm planning to do like a big Grand Cathay episode, Neil.
All right.
And this is a great episode for Neil, because Neil, you just got to show up.
I just have to stand here.
You just stand there and look pretty. Stand there, look pretty. That's all I need you to do.
Just wear my belt,
Oh, you assume you're keeping that belt? Okay, all right. I'm coming for it. Well, someone's coming for it. I don't know. All right. Well, anyway.
I'll take that.
There you go. All right. I guess we'll see you guys all next week. I hope you're enjoying the Monday release, by the way. All good things. So I'll catch you guys next Monday.
Yeah.